and welcome to Watching Worst Films. We are your guide to Razzie history, the podcast that watches all of the Golden Raspberry Worst Film Award winners. My name is Jericho Reed, with me Kyle Szymanski.
Hello.
How are you doing this week, Kyle?
I'm all right. Yeah, as we gear towards the finale of this was a nice little year, let's say. So
Yeah.
I'm actually in a good mood. How are you doing?
Yeah, same. It's a pleasant little film we have for you this week as we run towards the finish line of our quest, like a PS2 graphic, one could say.
Yes.
So,
But then that's what my introduction to this was going to be when I originally was going to host was we're going to travel back to the last year of the 90s,
yeah.
2004.
Yeah, I feel like I've been stiffing the listeners in the past few weeks with my increasingly incoherent. Okay, we're here with the Razzie Cast guide to watching things where we do, whereas you always have a much smoother, more interesting
I
introduction.
tell you
So
what Simpsons episodes happening at the time.
yeah,
What's happening in the world. But yeah, no,
you
very
give the
comfy year for me.
listeners their money's worth, but I'm imagining as we get towards the end with Freddy Got Fingered coming up, no guesses who's going to be hosting that one.
You're not going to get a word in. A solo episode.
Let's just cut the mics. Cut Jericho's mic. So, without further ado, we are in, as Kyle said, the last year of the 90s, 2004, with Pitoff's Catwoman. So, Kyle, what is your experience with Pitoff's DC's Catwoman?
Right. So I've never seen this film before. The closest is I played the GameCube game
Oh,
of
wow.
Catwoman. That's as close. So I had a little bit of understanding of what was going on. I did read about this in one book about Development Hell, where I remember it talking about Burton was going to do it in the 90s and Pfeiffer was involved all the way up. All these recasts and how it kind of ended up in the hands of Pitoff and how this film came about. But yeah, that's about it. I knew Development Hell, I knew a lot of changes, and I knew the game. But I also, one thing that confused me is the year it came out, because somehow, I don't know why, I've retroactively imagined this came out at the same time as Batman Begins.
It was
But
close.
it's very close. It is very close. But like that's it's my teenage brain. I
Yeah.
put them together. Like, it's the death of the old Sam-inspired comic book movies. Ang Lee's away to ride out,
Yeah.
and then Nolan on the horizon. So it's that sort of like end of the change. This is the prototype to the Marvel films, but the change is coming.
Well, a piece of the IMDb trivia says that at one point they considered folding this into the Nolan Batman and having Halle Berry play Catwoman in Batman
That's,
Begins, which, thank God, that didn't happen.
but
Long-time
that's
listeners will know that I have waxed lyrical about my love of Nolan films, and I can only imagine, like, Nolan's pretty much finished, and then they just present Halle Berry in a crate to be
yes.
like, here you go, Chris, fit this into the movie somewhere.
But that's a great thing about this film. I love is that the producers like
Hmm.
sort of so instead of folding it into the Nolan universe, we fold it back to the Schumacher Burton universe.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we also don't, and we're standing alone in a strange vision of someone else that has
yeah,
nothing to do with comic books or Catwoman in general. So yeah, it's such a weird mishmash, and it's a time capsule as well.
yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, it's a fascinating film. It really is.
We've alluded a little bit here and there to like Flash with comments about Superman Lives and the undead corpse of Christopher Reeve, but can you imagine if in Flash they just had like a CGI Catwoman turn up? Like the GameCube Catwoman just like waves to
Fuck
Ezra
yeah.
Miller as
Um,
they're zipping by.
so that I mean that's the other part. I know Halle Berry appeared at the Razzies to collect
Yeah.
spoilers.
Hmm.
That's a famous story. I
Yeah.
think Halle Berry would be up for a non-CGI cameo
Yeah.
in The
Yeah, for
Flash.
sure. I think so.
I
Yeah.
think she would come back as Catwoman and
Yeah.
give it another bash.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
we'll get into that. We'll get into Halle Berry. We'll get into all the good stuff. What about you? What's your background, by the way? I never asked.
My experience, I was at the premiere of this film. So, yeah, I wasn't in the auditorium, unfortunately, but as a young 12, 13-year-old boy, first time being in London, the city where I now live, we were walking through Leicester Square and they were setting up for a premiere night. with like fences and sort of harnesses and things on balconies. And we discovered, my dad asked, and it was Catwoman. So we came back a couple hours later at night, and they had like Catwomen like prancing around on the rooftops of Leicester Square. And I think my dad put me on his shoulders. I saw Benjamin Bratt and Sharon Stone from 60 feet away. But for a 12-year-old kid, I was like, wow, like Hollywood actors, this is the biggest thing in the world. One day I'm going to be up there.
This is a core memory for you.
Yeah, exactly. And then we saw the premiere of iRobot like a couple days later, and we were 4 feet from Will Smith, but still didn't have that initial rush of seeing a glimpse of Benjamin Bratt from my dad's shoulders. So when the film eventually came out, I think my parents saw it in the cinema, and then I watched it on DVD, and I don't remember hating it, but I don't remember loving it. So I have seen this film, and similar to you, I'm giving enough evidence here for my dad to be put away for life. This podcast is going to be like witness for the prosecution with my dad's track record for piracy. He used to pirate loads of like Game Boy games for me and my brother, and so I will stress we never paid for it, but we did play the Catwoman Game Boy game. And so, I was watching this, getting memories of being like, oh yeah, crawl with L and whip with R. I remember, yeah. So that is my experience with this film. It's worth saying that all of these stories are from about 2 decades ago. So I was kind of going into this semi-fresh because I couldn't really remember much about it. So let's get into it. On a budget of $100 million, how much do you think this made at the box office? That's a fucking
high budget. Wow. I was going to think it was going to be half that and then probably make a profit was going to be my original guess, but 100 million, I'm going to go break even, bang on 100.
You're kind of close, 82.1 million.
Yeah. It's a loss, but it's not a catastrophe.
Yeah, it's not like a complete bomb. Like it's yeah.
I don't know if that 100 million includes the days from Burton. Like I don't know how long this is for. Like maybe it was such a hole at that point that it probably wasn't going to make a profit no matter what. Let's just fucking do it. We'll get some random lad in to direct it. It'll all be good. Bish bash bosh.
Yeah.
Well, Nolan will fix it. Nolan will fix it.
So, getting into this film, we have the world's slowest title sequence when we get these little hieroglyphics, images, information about ancient Egyptian goddess Bast, and we get like images of cats throughout history.
Yeah, and women with cats as well.
Yeah, women. I'm gonna say cat.
I fucking love this. Mad mummy vibes, of course, but like this is because I've been beaten down by Marvel and DC, the grind, and to see something creative and different, I was like, okay, right, this is different. This is going to be, I don't know. I'm thinking we're going to go have like an opening in ancient Egypt or something, and we're going to get like a mummy flashback style. So I'm really excited here. It takes fucking ages, and no names are popping up that get me excited either. There's nothing.
There's no Robert Davi here for you.
There's nobody. I'm waiting for the and credit to be someone. It's going to be someone. It's going to, and Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now you've got me. Sharon Stone and Bruce Campbell, but yeah, there's nothing like that. The credits are very and they're not good. They're bad omens.
Yeah, with both the lack of names and with the ponderous pace to them, like it has no dynamism whatsoever. David Fincher has been on my brain a lot. I've been reading the David Fincher Mind Games book because I'm going to see The Killer on Thursday, and like he's responsible for like a number of great like title sequences, like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo with the what's it called, Immigrant Song cover, Seven with the 9 Inch Nails. But this is just slow. This feels like you're walking through a corridor at the British Museum, and they're like, welcome to the exhibition on cats. Please do not get too excited, children. Slow, leisurely walk. It's just like, it kills any hype you might have going into the film. And we then get a Sunset Boulevard opening where Halle Berry is floating face down, dead in a pool, and she's like, "Yep, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got into this situation. Well,
Mhm.
this story, like every story, is all about a girl. That girl,
Hmm.
the girl next door, Mary Jane Watson. You're probably thinking I'm the guy next. Anyway, so she's a nerd. She's Peter Parker. Halle Berry is
It's
like plain Jane Superbrain.
look,
She's
like, listen, right? I'm gonna cut to it. I'm gonna cut to the fucking chase here because
yeah,
we're gonna go through it. I've got a lot to go through in this
yeah.
film. But the plot of this film. Have you seen Batman Returns?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You've wow, congratulations, you've seen Catwoman. It is unbelievably lifted. It's shamelessly lifted,
wait. We've
right?
removed
But like,
everything that is good about Batman
no, no, no,
Returns.
no, 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 no. But
Yeah,
but like, I'm just saying that the bare bones plot. Halle Berry, she's not Selena Kyle. She's Patient something, and
yeah.
I don't know if that's a real DC thing. I assume not.
Patience
I assume
Phillips.
I don't know if anybody in this is an actual DC character. I think this is all new stuff. But anyway,
Patience Phillips.
yeah,
I've just googled Patience Phillips. Top question: is Patience Phillips in the comics? Patience Phillips appears in 4 issues.
okay, and that's going to be post movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like there's a
a
picture of
tie-in or
her
something.
on the cover, and she looks remarkably like Halle Berry. So yeah,
Yes.
this
So
was
comic tie-ins don't fucking count.
yeah,
So, but she's Selena Kyle. She is
yeah,
Michelle Pfeiffer. She is meek. She's
mhm,
reserved. She has a good friend at work.
yeah,
She's into some new beauty product.
yeah,
She has a bad boss. It is literally the fucking same as
yeah.
Batman Returns. The whole arc, plot, everything is Batman Returns.
She lives in a place with neon signs,
Yeah,
and
it's fucking shameless, man. Like I was thinking, if you've got the chance, and this is right, so off the
she
bat,
thinks mistletoe
if
can be
if
deadly if you eat
if
it.
you're not doing Selena Kyle, if you're choosing to make Catwoman and you're not going to use Selena Kyle, I'm going to make my own. Then make your fucking own. Like it's
Yeah,
unbelievable. You would just lift it, and this sucks because when even all these scenes, like you're saying, in the Devils Wear Prada sort of inner
mhm.
workplace with Sharon Stone's a bitch and her boss is a creepy arsehole and he's evil and her friend's nice and all this, it's just literally the same and do something different. I don't know, anything, like anything.
Have her
Um,
be a veterinarian who puts cats down day after day
yeah.
after day. Just yeah, do something different. I agree. I have a note for it, but I think that's one of the things which really throws into sharp relief how bad this film is that you can contrast it with this storyline done to perfection in Batman Returns.
Yes.
So you're just watching a shit version of Batman
Yes.
Returns. And yeah, the similarities, the comparison does not help this film
Doesn't it
at all.
really doesn't? And it's so like what 12 years apart or whatever. Like, why
Yeah,
would you do that?
yeah,
It feels like Nolan throwing in a Schumacher reference or something. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
so weird. Like, why
yeah.
would you link them together? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's strange
Having
because
having Joe Chill say, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" after he shoots Thomas and Martha Wayne.
and so yeah, this is the what I'd say, yeah, bereft of imagination.
Yeah.
It's a bad start. Like, it is bland looking. It is not new, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna say this first 40 minutes of her journey is so redundant because I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's rough. It is rough.
Yeah. So my next note, the cinematography is so weird in this film. Like everyone has like again, this is one of those I wish I knew more about cinematography to speak with about this with a little more insight, but it's like there's a weird kind of like glow to everything, or there's some like kind of filter on the
Well,
lens where it just there's a haziness to this film.
okay, so like I need to talk about this. Sorry, this is a big note
Yeah,
of mine. The film's disgusting looking,
yeah,
right? And I noticed this pretty early on,
yeah,
and like I didn't think about it when the credits rolled off with Pete off.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know why. My brain just blanked it and moved on. But
Mm-hmm.
while I was watching it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. And I paused the film because I was like, this film is disgusting looking. And I was like, who directed it? Who done this?
Yeah.
And I was like, this looks French. This was my first thought, right?
This
Because
looks
I
disgusting. This looks French.
to me as an ignorant Scotsman, I associate like French cinema, like Amelie, obviously,
Yeah.
right? And very recently I watched City of Lost Children,
Okay, yeah.
which was a great film. I did really enjoy it. But again, it is disgusting. Like, I hate all the Dutch angles. I hate the cuts. I hate the weird, like,
Yeah.
steady cam things to do. Like, I hate the weird smudge of Vaseline it looks like on every
Yeah.
frame. And the
Nothing
things
against
look out.
Vaseline, of course. George
Yeah,
Lucas
no,
used
no.
that for the sand speeders of Tatooine.
But like everything colored, all the colors are weird. There's like a weird
Yeah.
saturation throughout it
Mhm.
all. So I of course looked up Pete Off. I needed to know what it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did direct. This is his second film, but he
Mhm.
was the assistant director on Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, second
And
unit.
second unit, sorry. So that just all pulled together. I was like,
Yeah.
the Jean-Pierre, Jean-O, I was
Yeah.
like, you, everything. This is like I knew. So I knew it was going to be an interesting, different film. Like this
Yeah.
isn't going to be a because when I was going in, I expected McG, Charlie's Angels, 2004. Like
Yeah.
that's what I expected. It Crispin Glover isn't going to appear though, so I'm not even going to get that. It's just going to be bland. So I got almost excited that it's going to look visually different and
Mhm.
it's going to have a unique look at it.
Yeah.
But it wore off really fucking quick.
Yeah.
And then I actually hated looking at the film for long stretches of it. So yeah, like this is the biggest note. I don't know if derailed the conversation, but I have to kind of speak about how the film looks because it ain't good. It is not.
Yeah.
I was begging for generic.
The nighttime stuff looks a little bit better. Just when it's dark and they don't like, I don't know, there's like a different style to the cinematography, and to be honest, probably a lot of it is just visual effects when Catwoman is leaping off buildings and things. When it's darker, it's a little bit better, but even in your background, there's just like, I don't know, it's hard to articulate what it is about this film that looks so disgusting. And the DP, Thierry Arbogast, was the longtime collaborator of paedophile Luc Besson. So he shot Leon and he shot The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
And he also shot the Messenger, Joan of Arc movie, which we spoke about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Along with Arthur and the Invisibles and those sequels. So the guy knows how to shoot a film. So clearly there was some choice to just make this look.
That's what I'm saying. It's Pete Off. It's definitely his. Like and there's what the one bit that does I think look good is when she's in the club later on.
Yeah.
And it's shot really well because the French know how to shoot a nightclub. Like of course they're gonna like it's done like a music video, but it's done well.
Yeah.
Like it's all the fast cuts and it works.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, that's off my chest now. Sorry, Pete Off, I was not a fan.
My next comment is also kind of about the cinematography with the roaming camera it does, which this was again why I had Fincher on the brain because he does that so well with like Zodiac and the top-down shot following the car, and like Panic Room I think does a lot of kind of like roaming through walls and things
when it's needed.
Yeah. Like, whereas this,
when it's
just like, oh, hey, cool.
Techniques.
Yeah. Whereas, exactly, in this, it was
not
just
when she's like,
oh, hey, I saw Panic Room
a
couple years ago. Let's do that too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not when she's waking up.
It's just waking up, hitting her alarm, zoom round, and strange pans on a Dutch angle. It's disgusting.
It's just like the camera's just flying around completely unmotivated in this. So, like, it gets a little bit better as you go on. It's like Catwoman with a whip just grabs the camera and it's like, hey, stop moving around for 1 second. So, my notes are few and far between here. I have a quote: I will never, ever wear that leather outfit. And so I took a big sip of water, being like, Catwoman will never, ever wear that leather outfit. And hang on, what's this? Yeah. So everything's kind of set up. Every Chekhov's gun is loaded and waiting on the table. Mm-hmm. She gets fugitived. That's how she becomes Catwoman.
And this is a poor choice. Because it looks bad, and it's just there's nothing good. Again, it made me think of Batman Returns, right? Yeah. So when she gets sewered out, when she gets fugitive, she gets flushed out the building because she sees the evil plans from the evil bosses.
Yeah.
And you've got your main protagonist, your heroine, is face down in a pile of shit, and cats come and breathe power into her, like stank breath.
A CGI cat breathes on her, like a CGI cat. There's like a close up of its eye, and it just kind of like mist comes out of its mouth, and it gives her a kiss of life, basically. Yeah,
and she wakes up covered in shit, surrounded by cats, right? And it's just so. And I made me think. I was like, so what did they do in Returns again? And I was like, oh, she gets thrown out the
licked.
window in the
Yeah.
alleyway, and all the alley cats, and they
Yeah.
all come licking, and
Yeah.
like it's a, you're it's inferring blood as well, like
Yeah. Yeah.
you can use your imagination that this is quite
Yeah. Yeah.
grotesque and very fitting. Alley cats. Now she's a thief and all this shit. It
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. But who are these cats hanging around the fucking sewers? And
Yeah.
why would you want to show Halle Berry face down in shit? It's such a strange choice. Like, do anything better. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so fucking bizarre. It's also around this time the bad CGI is coming into
Yeah.
notice a lot more. Like there is a lot of cats that are bad, but already it's ropey, it's rubbery is the only way to describe it.
Yeah, like it's 2004. I don't want to be like too critical of these hardworking VFX artists, but like it's clearly just like being lent on more than it should be because yeah, like a lot of this stuff look like we don't need a CGI cat's eyeball cross
You don't need a
cutting
CGI
into
cat.
we have
There's real
plenty of those
cats,
yeah.
It's insane. But like if the budget is entirely his, 100 million, he has got a lot
Yeah.
to play with.
Mhm.
So he has gone.
Listen, we can afford Bruce
Double
Campbell
down.
or we can afford a CGI cat, and we're going to have to pick. So, my next note is about the basketball scene. So we
the
are
infamous
really
basketball scene.
leaping
Yes.
forward here.
We're leaping forward. So I will try and reel us a little back for a change.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's me usually leaping forward. I want to talk about Halle Berry as Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say I think everyone sucks in this to some degree.
Yeah.
Like Sharon Stone is. This podcast has made me hate Sharon Stone.
Oh,
I don't want to see her anymore. I don't want to see her. Really. And everyone else, and even people are fine. I know what Benjamin Bratt is fine, but like he's not good. He's not good at all. And some of it's a script. Some of it might be this inexperienced French director spinning a camera around instead. But I think obviously we need to talk about Halle Berry. I think she's the focal point. She's the titular character. Everyone else is she's the lead. So what do you think of Halle Berry and Catwoman?
I wanted to be positive on her, and indeed I was kind of to begin with. I'll speak about it more towards the end. I like her less and less as the film goes on. I start off rooting for her, and by the end I'm like, you are awful.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like, I agree. I'm gonna give her a pass.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm gonna give her a pass because there's a lot of effort. I appreciate effort and a bit of I can tell there's a lot of training and a lot of there's a lot of her in this film, which is considering it's a superhero film. You could Downey Jr. it and just fucking appear for 5 minutes. Like I think she does put a lot of effort into this, and although the film's based around how she looks and not how she acts, because again it's 2004. I don't think she's that bad, but the seductive anti-hero Catwoman stuff is not good. It is not good, and again, it makes you think of Pfeiffer, and then they show you Pfeiffer, and then it's not it's not good.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna give her a pass.
Yeah, I felt a little sorry for her because it's hard to imagine anyone coming out of this with too much credit.
No one could have done well, really. I mean, the lines she has to deliver are pretty fucking rotten as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Okay, so do we leap onto the basketball scene then?
Basketball. So yes, it's the most infamous part of this film. It was briefly like not memed, but it was infamous. It was always held up as like one of the worst. Shot, one of the worst, weirdest, most inappropriate, strange, bizarre scenes you can throw in a movie. Takes away.
So the basketball scene is Benjamin Bratt has been introduced by this point in time as the cop who is investigating just the bad goings on at Halle Berry's makeup company, Sharon Stone's makeup company, which are up to all kinds of not good hijinks. So Benjamin Bratt is just the cop who has like chemistry with Halle Berry, and so her co-workers are like, you should go on a date with him and wear the leather outfit, whatever. And then after she has been brought back to life by excrement and cat breath, she like stumbles into him, and how is it they end up in a school?
He's doing a talk.
Yeah.
he's doing a talk, and she comes to pick him up, I assume for their day, or I don't
Yeah.
know, meet him. She appears at the school, and he's doing a talk. So he ends the talk to the kids with, remember to be a good guy, we're not the bad guys, or some shit. And they're all like, and then he's like, let's go shoot some hoop, and every kid just stands up and it's like, yeah,
Yay!
yeah, like
Yeah.
they're so energetic. Like you can tell, what's his name, the director is hyped them up. He's
Yeah,
got them
yeah.
all ready. So when Benjamin Bratt says this, all cheer, and they're fucking
They have
ecstatic
never
that
seen
this
a
police
basketball
officer's
in
going
their
to play some
life
football.
before. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So instead of going out into the playground, they go into the local hood, because
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck the school is, if this is the basketball court. I
Yeah.
assume he's led them away like a Pied Piper down the main streets of wherever fuck we are. And
Associate of
they
Luc Besson
really,
is like,
really,
you have groomed these children and you are taking them away. And oh god,
yes,
I'm
yes,
so
yes.
fucking sorry. I'm so sorry.
So anyway, but the thing is, the kids are proper, like they're like one on
Yeah.
one. Like they're like, this
Listen,
is
there's one
Thunderdome.
thing a
This
high
is
energy kid wants more than nothing else. It's to see two adults play basketball against each other while they sit cheering on the sidelines.
which is so bizarre, because I did think about it. I was like, they were so hyped up to go play basketball,
Yeah.
but that
They
paled in comparison to watching two
they got
adult
they
strangers
got
play
burnt out.
basketball.
It's kids these days. They'd rather stay indoors playing Minecraft and watch Halle Berry and Benjamin Bratt play basketball. Where's the next Michael Jordan gonna come from? Kids these days,
That's true.
they're
That's
too
true.
spoiled, sheltered snowflakes. That's what I say. So they play. They give the kids what they want. And Halle Berry, again, this is just kind of like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, like testing out her powers, Flash Thompson punching.
Yep,
She's kind of like
yep, yep.
enjoying her newfound athletic prowess by bouncing a
Mhm.
basketball and looking at it. And like this
This is
whole
this. Yeah, I immediately thought Spider-Man 3. I think
yeah,
you nailed it on the head. It was at first just the film in general, the vibes. I was like, oh,
yeah,
this could be in Spider-Man 3.
yeah,
Emo Peter Parker could
yeah.
be doing this,
Could be
showing off how bad he
bullying
is in the
Eddie
hood.
Brock in the
Yeah,
hood. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So
100%. This easily, easily.
I think if maybe we suggest this to Mr. Razzie as an award, because I think it was 2021. Anyway, the Razzies used to have those things where we'd have like our first 10 years, 25 years, whatever. Maybe for their like 50th anniversary, we recommend they have a most Razzie worthy sequence. And I think this would be like a contender because it's just clueless on every level. Like Scandalous
It's
is
insane.
playing. It's the most early 2000s sequence you can.
Yeah,
It's
it's
truly yeah,
it's insane. It is so
yeah,
insane. And again, like all the elements add up. It's a sensory blast.
yeah,
Like you're looking at insanity. You're
yeah,
being whipped about by a camera.
yeah,
Like again, it's in this strange Thunderdome with children cheering,
yeah,
and then it gets really pseudo-sexual and
yeah.
innuendo
Because
driven,
she like
and
is
that's not
riding him.
appropriate for a
She
police
like
officer.
flips over and
Yes,
like yeah, she's
she's
just
she's
straddling
literally, yeah,
him and yeah,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
kids are like
and the kids are,
woo.
kids are just whooping away.
Yeah, yeah. um,
It's
so
fucking nuts.
yeah, yeah. It's just like obviously like we said the Spider-Man sequence with like Flash and things going slow. Like every superhero movie has that like hero learns to use their powers, whatever. Like, but this is just like I don't feel like I'm watching someone discover their powers. I just feel like I'm an insect in a box that has been rattled around by Pitoff. I'm just like, okay,
Yeah,
let me find my bearings now. What's going on? But it
yeah.
has the most
Well, like
incredible.
I mean, I would describe this film as that's exactly it. It's like, imagine being on a waltzer,
Yeah.
trying to watch Batman Returns while Destiny's Child play in the background.
There
And
you
that's
go.
Pitoff's vision.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just ends with one of the kids being like, "Can we have our ball back, please?" Just interrupting the a kid equivalent of like, "Hey, get a room." As they're like, "Hey, if you two aren't going
Yeah.
to be using the ball, can we maybe play?"
No.
Okay, so I remember you mentioned 40 minutes. I have that written down as a note as well because my observation was 40 minutes in, all she's done is shut a party down. because she has
Yeah.
noisy neighbors. And so she
Yeah.
just goes over and
Oh
is
my
like, hey,
god, like
shut the fuck
it's
up.
so it's so fucking. I mean, they do set it up. She has struggles when she's meek. Noisy
Yeah.
neighbors always party across the road, keep her
Mm-hmm.
up. So now that she's a badass cat
Yeah.
lady, she can go across and show them who's boss. But it's so weird because everyone at this point, like, it's like a bunch of bikers,
Yeah,
but
it's
they're
such
not.
a
Like,
weird house
it's a
party. Yeah. It's
strange.
like Terminator 2
It's
vibes of
very
like,
yeah. But again, it's very Euro trash. I was like, you put one of everyone, like it's such a strange mix of people
it's
that
such
would
a
never
weird
exist
cross
in reality.
section of like,
You know,
okay, she needs to steal a
yeah, like
bike, so there's a biker there. She needs a costume, so there's like a fetish
yes.
person there. She needs to play some basketball again, so there's a
But
jock
it's a
there.
loud party
And
late at night. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, because it's late at night. They need to be teenagers because it's partying. It's just we need one of everything.
But then
Someone needs
there
to
must be
drink beer
parental
because she needs to use
supervision,
it
so
as a
maybe
whip.
there's a yeah. It's
Yeah, it's so fucking weird. And it's so lame. Like
yeah.
again, like God bless her for trying, but yeah, it's lame as fuck. And when she discovers her whipping powers with the beer nozzle, it's bad. Like
Yeah.
you know what? Like again, it's a sign of a bad film when my brain starts auto playing the rest of the film. I admit, I laughed in my head at my imagination because when she leaps onto the bar counter
Yeah.
and smashes up the amp,
Yeah.
my head, I just heard a gunshot, boom, done. She's like these bikers have just shot her dead. And now the Benjamin Bratt has to find out who killed Catwoman. She's so lame. Like it just isn't cool.
Yeah.
So it's a long way away from Pfeiffer.
Yeah, because we get the superhero suit up scene, which is obligatory. Everyone has one. Batman Begins has one. Spider-Man has one. Oppenheimer has one. Catwoman has one. So yeah, she puts it on, like, because she wears the leather, like the I will never ever ever wear that leather outfit. She wears that, but then she makes the kind of like more revealing leather bikini Catwoman outfit, because the
Yeah,
first one is more
yeah,
of a tasteful jacket biker kind of thing.
yeah.
And yeah.
I don't have much to say. I appreciate that she doesn't wear the Pfeiffer outfit.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
appreciate it has its own look. I really do appreciate that. It's unique. It does make me think of the film. Like it ties it in. I'm okay with that. My problem is right. So when she goes from Patience to Catwoman, she cuts her hair. She
Yeah.
changes her haircut.
Oh god, yeah.
But like the only thing her Catwoman outfit covers is her head.
Yeah.
So her hair. So she
Yeah.
looks exactly the fucking same. And Halle Berry's a very distinct lady. It's hard. It's a
It's
bit
a
like
very
I do the
it's
Christopher Reeve thing. I can get away with it.
yeah, it's
But
not
it's like
like
George Clooney. It's very George Clooney.
it's like they haven't said whether it's Gotham City or whether it's somewhere else, but it's still like a very white city. Like
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
when they're like, oh, Halle
Yeah, does that ever?
yeah,
I,
exactly. When
I touched
Benjamin,
on it
like the
earlier.
only two
I don't know
black
where we
women
are.
Benjamin Bratt knows are Patience and Catwoman. It
Yeah.
like it's a little takes a little too long to connect the dots.
They have almost the same handwriting, but it's slightly different. So
Well,
it can't possibly be
that's
the
my
same
next
girl.
note is he gets a handwriting analyst who says, "No, absolutely 100% these two people are different." And he's like, "This
One
woman, by the
person's
way she
happy,
draws
one's
her
meek. Yeah.
O's, she's introverted. This woman, by the way she writes her O's, she's extroverted." And he says, "If you put these women in the same room, you're gonna have one hell of a party." And I was like, what the fuck does he mean by that? Because I was almost as like, is this like the way he delivers it as like, is this an innuendo thing? Is this like a sex thing? Because I was like,
Yeah.
there's no like, I was like, an introverted woman, an extroverted woman in the room at the same time. Whoa! It's just
Oh
like
my.
it's like, oh wow, yeah, oil and
Yeah.
water, sparks are gonna fly when an extroverted woman meets an introverted woman who will let her walk all over her. Like,
It's honestly in the whole setup, like not even to. So the start of the scene where he's sitting at his desk and he's holding the
yeah,
coffee cup from Patience, and then he's got the note from Catwoman, and he's sitting there, and they both say sorry, and they're both in the identical handwriting. And,
yeah,
it's stupid. It is
yeah,
the stupidest, laziest writing ever.
yeah,
And I laughed. Of course, I laughed. I was like, "That's so fucking funny."
yeah.
And then you make an even funnier joke by taking it to an analyst who says, "Nah." not the same, right? Totally different, right? Just a quinky dink. But yeah, totally different people. And oh, one's white, one's fire, one's ice.
Yeah.
And I just thought it's possibly the stupidest scene I've ever seen on this Razzie history. Like, I know
Yeah.
the basketball scene might have been the most Razzie worthy,
Yeah.
but just in terms of
This
writing
is
this down on
purely
paper,
idiotic.
is
Yeah, this
stupid.
is. Yeah.
Yes, like someone. How can you have 100 million spent, all these producers, all these writers, all these people, not one person say that's stupid? Don't do that. Unbelievable.
Like, I like to mock the scene in Dark Knight Rises where Joseph Gordon-Levitt deduces that Bruce Wayne is Batman because he's like, you know, when I was an orphan, I saw that expression on your face that just said, my parents were killed and I'm Batman, and I knew that meant you were Batman. But I'm just imagining like someone being like, well, like if the guy from Dark Knight Rises was like, I've analyzed Bruce Wayne's signature on his credit card with Batman's signature on the back credit card, and they're the same. I took him to handwriting analyst, and he said they are the same. Morgan Freeman's like, let me get my own guy in and look at this. Because, like, I don't know, it's funny, like, I guess it's just my little obsessions looking at the world entirely through the prism of them. So with Fincher right now, I'm like, yeah, Zodiac, I want this handwriting guy to, like, be confirmed with, like, Philip Baker Hall's handwriting analyst from Zodiac. Being like, whoa, 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 whoa. Maybe the guy who wrote Man is the Most Dangerous Game, yes, could be, maybe, I don't know. Okay, so this is where Catwoman first turns into a PS2 graphic when she's suited up and she goes running across rooftops and performs all kinds of acrobatics. And again, like, these pioneers, I'm not going to fault them for doing the best they could with the resources, but now, in the year of our Lord 2023, it just looks incredibly ropey. In a way that things like Spider-Man don't, but...
Well, the thing is, it's necessary for Spider-Man to go flying through the city. So you probably have to spend a long time working. It's like Superman in flight.
Yeah.
Like it's the first thing in day one of production. We need to sit down and work out how we're doing the big set piece that's pivotal to this.
You will believe
Catwoman doesn't need to be
swing a whip.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Whereas swing a whip, be like athletic, acrobatic, is like, you know, you could be like Cirque du Soleil level, and I'd go, "Oh, that's cool. Just get some good stunt doubles in." You don't need Catwoman flying about CGI models. So like, it's so unnecessary. It's and that's where I'm like, come on, dude. Like, if you've got the budget, why do this? Is this mandated because of Spider-Man? But I don't know. It's rough.
Yeah. So I think Catwoman's trying to work out what has happened to her, and I think she Googles the cat in history, which is what leads her down the rabbit hole that brings us to your backdrop.
It does. So yeah, something like that. Midnight's the name of the cat. I remember that for some reason. And it leads her. I think the cat leads her to the owner. Like, it guides her back. And then the owner is the lady from American Horror Story, whose name escapes me, and a million other things.
And Joker, baby.
And Joker, baby.
It's Arthur Fleck's mother.
So
Frances Conroy.
And we live in a society where yes, that's it. So we live in a society where this small, tiny house can exist in a metropolis, which is weird, very strange. But yeah, Cat Midnight leads us to Arthur Fleck's mum, who, you know, is like, "Oh, Midnight, you've never taken a lady home before," which is a funny line. Like, again, it's not intentional, but that is a funny line. And so basically, yeah, she comes in and she's like, "So listen up, patients. You're now a Catwoman. These cats are magical, basically, and throughout time they."
Have you heard of Mr. Mistopheles, perchance? I'd like to introduce you to. Oh, well, there never was there ever.
And so she's flicking through, and, you know, I like this. I would love an ancient Catwoman film set in, like, random. You know, I always talk about the Gladiator 2 script done by Nick Cave, where he's fighting through time and hell. Give me that. Give me a Catwoman through a Wolverine
Catwoman
style,
Assassin's Creed type. Yeah.
Give me that shit. Like, there's money. But I like this stuff. And yeah, so like I was just sitting there, totally ignorant in my ways, watching the film, and she fucking slaps down a photo of Michelle Pfeiffer, a
Y-
still from Batman Returns.
yeah, it's like her
So
headshot, her glossy
it
8 by
is, yeah.
10.
And I was stunned. I was like, why? Why would you do that? Like, because canon, in canon now, the
Yeah.
Burton verse has 5 films,
Hmm.
and that breaks my heart. It's so fucking unnecessary. It's so stupid. It's because it's a frame or a still as well. It's showing me a better movie that's lit better and its
Yeah.
colors are better, contrasting, and oh my god.
Just like the questions, because it's like a promo still. Like the question then comes like, okay, in universe, when did Catwoman pose for some headshots? Like, who's her Peter Parker that took this like profile shot of her? Just like right,
I,
it's not like an
you know,
action shot or anything. It's
but
just like
I, 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 I don't know how, but I would make up a reason that, like Batman and Catwoman can't be fighting crime all the time. So maybe they're just
yeah,
like standing about, and he's like, "Oh, you look nice. Let me take a photo of you,
yeah.
and I'll print it off and give it to this
I'll put it
random
on Facebook.
Catwoman."
Okay, okay, yeah,
I don't know. Maybe believable. Maybe I don't know how. There is right. No, I will tell you how,
yeah,
because there's every chance that Catwoman was filmed after Batman Returns.
yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
you could say that she's egotistical enough to do like a TV interview or
Yeah,
something,
sure, I guess. Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
where it is. Maybe Pfeiffer's Catwoman is known in this universe.
She's a Twitch
I would
streamer.
imagine so.
She's yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it opens up. That means Batman exists, and I'm happy without Batman in this world. Like I say, I quite like having no DC references and random
Oh,
cameos. But now,
2004, what a sweet,
but now,
naive age.
yeah, Michael Keaton exists in this world, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
yeah. So, interestingly, the role of Ophelia was offered to Julie Newmar, but for whatever reason, she didn't end up in the film. So, Julie
That
Newmar,
would that's a
happy with
that's a
Ghosts
more
Can't Do
tasteful way
It,
to do it.
but yeah,
Yeah, it's a
Catwoman
more
is
tasteful
bridged
way
too
to do it.
far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That would have been because no one in the crowd would have got it, but it's
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Whereas people in the crowd would have got Michelle Pfeiffer, and that's
Hmm.
that's wrong. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
have liked
yeah,
Newmar. I did think she might have, but that would have been really out of place if they
yeah.
showed a still from '66 Batman.
They're doing the
Yeah,
bat dance.
hated it. Hated everything about this. It's so stupid. It's so unnecessary. I know,
It's
we
just we
know.
don't need this
Like,
fucking
I don't need
lore. Like it
this.
doesn't. Yeah, exactly. It's just
Yeah.
redundant, and that's kind of the issue with this film. Is this
Um,
is a like 100-minute movie that's just skating by on the thinnest of plots. Like my next note is a quote: "I can't live with turning people into monsters." I wrote, I keep forgetting there's a plot to this thing because Catwoman had just
mhm,
been playing basketball, shutting down house parties, hanging out
mhm.
with like a reclusive shut in. I forget that Sharon Stone's up to some no good stuff. And yeah, it's tedious. So to get
The-
on with it, the one pat on the back I will give the filmmakers is there is a shot. It almost looks like it's in the Guggenheim. Like I just have mirror shot, cool, because Catwoman's walking in a staircase and she's going from kind of like one mirror to another. It kind of looks like
mhm.
it's the Guggenheim. So
Okay.
that's the
Yeah.
only thing I have.
A little ray of light. That's okay.
Yeah.
Better than nothing.
As well, Fincher had Nolan on the mind, obviously, because there's a scene where the villain, the big bad of the film, is talking to the woman. It's the nightclub scene you mentioned earlier. He's talking to his much younger date, and she's like, "I just think blah 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 blah," and he's like, "Don't think ever." And it reminds me, I think Nolan might have been watching this and he might have taken notes for The Dark Knight because it just reminds me of when Eric Roberts has that great moment where he's hanging out in the nightclub and his date is like, "Can we go somewhere else? We can't hear each other talk." And he looks at her and goes, "What makes you think I want to hear you talk?"
Yeah.
This just seemed like, I think Nolan watched this film. I think Nolan's a
There,
fan.
no, there is a less than 0% chance that Nolan hasn't seen this film. If you're making Batman Begins, you would watch this to know not what to do.
Absolutely, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if you're absolutely, you do your homework and you
yeah.
see what to avoid
A
and how
studio
to do things
exec
right.
would
So
be
yeah,
like,
there's.
"Hey, Chris, we could set up a meeting with Pitchoff if you want to. You could try and get some notes."
But like,
One of the
I would believe he's seen this more than like Batman and Robin. because you just
It,
want to distance. You wouldn't want to imagine it. You wouldn't want to be influenced in
yeah.
any way. But this is your direct. This is directly what can fuck you up. So let's learn from this.
Yeah, exactly. This is what you're gonna be having to deal with down the line when they're like, okay, Nolan, so the Catwoman verse is dead, but Halle Berry's tied to a 5-film contract, so we do need you to work her into the Dark Knight somehow, just somehow. We'll
Mhm.
we'll leave it up to you. So another piece of Nolan crossover. The film was originally planned to be released in IMAX format, but was cancelled because Warner Brothers decided that visual effects delays did not give IMAX enough time to remaster the film for release. So there was a promotional title, Catwoman: The IMAX Experience, with the tagline "Catcher in IMAX." So maybe Nolan was inspired by Pitoff. He was like, this
Yeah.
IMAX thing. You're right, Pitoff. There's a future to this.
I would love to. I'd love to see this in IMAX. So
This ugly
I
film
would
that
love
gives you a headache, just the camera zooming around. What would it have looked like? It was 40 feet tall.
to.
The sound of a basketball blowing out my eardrums. Okay, so my note here is this somehow makes Batman Returns worse because in Batman you can completely buy Selena Kyle as the repressed woman with that
Mhm,
like inner Catwoman side to her that
mhm.
just gets unleashed. You can buy them as being like it's
Well,
not like
because it's well, it's A, Michelle Pfeiffer is better,
yeah.
and B, it's again, it's like subtle, like she's a crazy cat lady.
Yeah.
Like it's literally
Exactly,
set
yeah.
up
And
exactly like you would do it if she was on The Simpsons, as if she was
yeah.
on any other thing. If you were just writing it, it's just good. It's just
Yeah.
simple, clean. The audience gets it. Like you don't have to explain it. It's
Yeah.
shown.
She's
You
been
can't
shat
do
on at
that with
her work.
you can't
Yeah.
do that with Halle Berry. You can't give her the Batman Returns story. You had
Yeah.
that's why I've been moaning about the whole film. Like it's not her fault. It's the writers, creators, producers, whoever everyone else that's been involved. It's so wrong because I don't buy it for a second that
Yeah.
she was this meek loser geek.
Yeah, it's
So
like Selena Kyle comes back to life, and it's just kind of like fuck it. Like my last life got me killed, so you know what, nothing to
yeah,
lose. But Halle
it's like
Berry gets brought back to life, and she's just a fundamentally different person.
person, yeah. Whereas I tie it in because of Grease 2 with Pfeiffer.
Yeah,
Essentially, she does. She gets her Sandy moments. She
yeah,
becomes like a badass because she wants.
yeah.
She's tired of being pushed about.
Exactly. You see her getting shot on work, and you can kind
Yeah,
of tell that she has this like inner life, which Halle
that's
Berry
that.
doesn't have. She has like a
She
kind of
doesn't
nice
have.
life
Yes.
with friends, and you just get the
Yeah.
sense that this is
Decent
just who she
job.
is. There's no hidden depths of like, oh, what if I was whatever.
Yes.
So that was why I was like, this just made me doubt Batman Begins because I was like, she is just so wildly like two different, like completely different people. It makes no sense. The nerd Halle Berry with frizzy hair and glasses, and then Karen Halle Berry. I was like, they
Yeah.
just are not the same person. That
No,
it kind of made
because
me look at Batman Returns, be like, hang on, wait, maybe they got away with something they shouldn't have. But
well,
yeah,
right. So it's because you can't do it.
yeah,
Right. So Batman Begins works on a fundamental level because it's this origins of Batman.
yeah,
Like we haven't seen that. We just get in with Keaton like
yeah,
straight away. We know about the origins, but just he's Batman. Fuck it, he's
yeah,
cool. this is the chance to go back and explore new territory
yeah.
because Batman Returns is the origin story of Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
By all logical sense, the sequel or your standalone, she is just Catwoman,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's
Yeah.
the anti-hero thief, and she moves away from Gotham City because she wants to get away from Batman. She's
Yeah.
going on her own. She's Frasier. She's moving away, and she gets
And she's played by Kelsey Grammer.
yeah,
Is
and
that
she
the right
steals
one? I
something.
don't know. Yeah.
She steals someone from a Kelsey Grammer. She steals
Yeah.
something from a rich person
Yeah.
that entangles her into a big plot. So now she's the
It
anti-hero that
writes
has to
itself.
it's the easiest fucking thing to do in the world,
Yeah.
but she has to be Catwoman.
Yeah.
Like she has to be at the start because we know we're not like even if you haven't seen Batman Returns, like
Yeah.
you know that's Catwoman now.
Yeah.
It's so fucking done. Just go. That's
You
it.
you don't have a title sequence for this film, so you can just do the like Spider-Man 2 animated style, like here you see me dying, here you see me resurrected by cats. Bang, the audience is up to date. Or it starts with that voiceover of like, hey, yeah, I bet you're wondering how I got here. Again, just change that to be like, yeah, you fall off a building, you're licked by cats, and then all of a sudden here you are. Life's crazy sometimes. Life do be crazy. So yeah, my next note, detective work is kind of like dating. Again, Jake Gyllenhaal. Like sometimes you just sometimes detective work
Yeah.
can be dating. You just hang out with Chloe Sevigny all the time researching the Zodiac killer. But yeah, they have their date. That's a line that Benjamin Bratt says on the date. Halle Berry eats a bunch of sushi, and he's like, "Whoa, you sure do like sushi." And I was just grateful that at this point in time, I don't think we'd gotten like a big milk scene. Like they don't really do that, do they?
We
Does she
did at the
maybe drink
bar.
some milk?
Um,
Oh
she
yeah, yeah. She's
she
she's a white Russian.
she goes
Yeah,
to
she's
the
like
bar and
yeah.
yeah. Well, can I get virgin white Russian? Like
No,
hold
she's like, give me a white
hold
Russian,
everything.
but hold yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah. Give me the Andrew Dice Clay special, please. When you're fighting this milkshake.
yeah. Yeah.
I have nothing now. Yeah, I've spoke at length about this film, but I have nothing now. So it's
Yeah.
all on your shoulders now, buddy.
Racing towards the end, she works out that Sharon Stone's company is up to some hijinks where they are using this facial cream which makes people deteriorate if they stop using it. It's anti-aging cream which makes people like Dorian Gray to shit if they stop using it. So Catwoman is investigating this because she's worked out that she was killed by Sharon Stone. She was responsible for fugitiving her, and so she goes to shut things down. There's a kind of semi-cool bit where Catwoman bursts out of like a poster, like killing like flunkies, whatever, and she bursts out through the lips of a poster and grabs a guy. That was a kind of cool thing. She confronts
Yeah.
Sharon Stone. They have a big fight, and then Sharon Stone falls off a building. It's like it was like I wanted to give the film a little something where she falls off and she's hanging. And I think over the fight, the damage that Sharon Stone's been taking makes her into the picture of Dorian Gray version of herself. And she's dangling, and Catwoman's trying to pull her up. And Sharon Stone catches a glimpse of herself and then falls off like three or
Oh,
four
it's fucking
seconds later.
right. So no. Let me set this up.
Yeah.
So it's a dreadful fucking fight. Like this
Yeah.
is your big climax, right?
Yeah.
And Catwoman's this established ass kicker, whip
Yeah.
using. She's fighting a 40-odd-year-old Sharon Stone in a
Yeah.
dress. And this is ridiculous. This is a fundamental problem with the film not having an antagonist.
Yeah.
Easiest fix, by the way, for the end. Give me just putting a fucking villain in it that it can at least be some sort of match for Catwoman. It's so shit, and it goes on for far too fucking long.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Sharon Stone gets yeeted out of a fucking window, and Catwoman grabs her, and because she's not a killer. That was part of her thing with the detective when she was trying to prove her innocence, that she wasn't the murderer. Like, I'm not a killer. I might be a bad girl, but I'm not a killer. So she grabs on, and I was under the assumption it's because this fight had gone on for 10.5 hours. Sharon Stone hadn't applied her aging cream, and that's why she was deteriorating, because she was just equally addicted. But the sight of seeing her, and it ain't bad. It isn't bad. It's like a few fucking burns on her. It's
Yeah.
not like,
Yeah. It's
and
not
it's not even
enough.
convincing. You should have doubled down here and made her look two-faced, like grotesque or something. Like, isn't that bad? Anyway, she drops to the sight of herself, and it's hilarious. It's so long. It's probably
Okay,
like
okay, but I
only
I
three
just want to speak about
seconds.
the drop for because I think they could have made it clearer. Of I think she either needs to kind of like drop in fright at like, oh, that's what I look like, or she needs to be kind of like
Oh, she
considerate
utters a
and
line.
then
I don't know what the fucking line
intentionally
is. Yeah,
drop.
she does say something. I can't remember what the line is though.
I think it just
She
like
does have
it.
one line.
I think she sees it and she like sort of jerks like, oh, and then she like it's like two separate beats of like it's the fright and then beat beat beat. Oh, my arms are kind of tired. Ugh. Where I think it needs to be more of a direct like I don't want to live if that's what I look like, or it needs to be like horror at her own visage and the
Yeah,
exterior
yeah,
representation of her inner corruption. But I
yeah.
think there is an idea there and they just fucking ballsed up the execution of it. And then the fall, of course. So yeah.
Well, well, Yeah, the correct order to do it would be Catwoman tries to save her,
Yeah.
she fails, she
Yeah.
slips, she
Mm-hmm.
goes, she
Yeah.
falls, and then because she's dead, the face would start like you'd zoom in on her face
Yeah.
starting to go all gooey and
Mm-hmm.
disintegrate essentially, and then
Yeah.
oh, she was ugly on the outside and the inside,
Yeah.
whoa.
Turns out ugly people are
Hack.
evil. If the James Bond series has taught
Yeah,
us
yeah.
anything, it's that people with disabilities deserve it because they are villains. Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, right. So anyway, she goes, and it's probably only 3 seconds.
Mhm.
Probably not even that, but like it is. It feels like an infinite amount of time of her spinning in the air
Yeah,
and
it's her
rotating.
Nakatomi Plaza moment
And
because she just looks like she's made of
no,
plastic
no,
because
no, no,
she
no.
does.
It's 10 times. It's 10 times worse. Nakatomi Plaza. Like I was thinking of this. I was like, everyone, rags on like Die Hard or like
Yeah.
RoboCop and stuff like that. And I was like, but they're really short, right? Like
No,
they're
no, it's
bad,
like, yeah,
but they're
it's if
over really
she.
quick.
It's like she falls from the top of the Empire. I just mean in terms of like height. It's like she falls from a great height
Yes, yeah.
at an
But like
incredibly
that's what
slow
makes it so
pace.
funny because
Yeah.
imagine Nagatomi Plaza, but
Yeah.
it cutting to
Yeah.
other
So
angles
like exactly
and
an
showing you
extreme wide
Rickman
shot
falling
showing
in.
Alan
Yeah.
Rickman
Yeah.
going
Doing a few rotations, a
him
couple of
screaming
cartwheels, and then lightly
Mendoza.
to have the lightest landing
Yeah.
perfectly, like
Yeah.
bang bullseye on your company logo.
Yeah, like if you've been falling
Um,
that long, you'd be like
I was like, oh, because it
vaporized.
could have
But
been her. You would be mincemeat, and it would be horrific ending to the film. Sign me up.
all the cats and shit in the world isn't gonna put Humpty Dumpty back together again after that film.
But there's nothing else after this. Brat tries to get her to stick around with him, and she's like, "Nah, I'm a
Well,
strong, independent
we do get a
Catwoman."
line. We do get a line. Catwoman, after having watched
Got a
Sharon
line from
Stone
it.
fall to her death for about an hour, glibly comments to Benjamin Bratt, "Well, I might not be a hero, but I'm certainly not a killer." And once again, I think Nolan was taking notes in the DC screening room for, "I'm not gonna kill you, but that doesn't mean I have to save you." Yeah, so I have the ending monologue for you because it's so fucking shit, it's unimaginable. Because they do the Dark Knight ending of like, how Nolan has all those kind of like the voiceover, like no one does this in the
Mhm.
Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises voiceover of all these different images, like Gary Oldman reading Tale of Two Cities as like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's getting the will, or like
Yeah,
the bat sounds
I,
being chopped up.
I would like to interrupt and say
Yeah.
I love how you say it does a Dark Knight despite predating it by 5 years.
Dark Knight as a Catwoman.
I'm glad.
So you get Catwoman kind of making amends with like she sends a letter to Crazy Cat Lady, to Joker, to Mrs. Fleck, Penny Fleck. She sends a letter to Penny Fleck. She sends some stuff to like her colleagues. It's just like pitch off being like, fuck, I want to have like a making amends ending kind of montage, but there really isn't enough people in her life that we can kind of like. She sends a basketball to the school just like for the kids, and they open and go. But we get this montage of just like a little shot of everyone that ever knew her as she's kind of saying like, Benjamin, we can't be together. She's written him a letter, and this is where I truly thought I was like, yeah, you know what, Halle Berry earned this Razzie because her parting the final lines of this film. You see, sometimes I'm good. Ooh, I'm very good. Sometimes I'm bad, but only as bad as I want to be. Freedom is power. To live a life untamed and unafraid is the gift that I've been given. And so, my journey begins. It's just like, it's so,
Perfect.
it's bad
Perfect.
dialogue, and she does not do a good job with it.
It's awful dialect.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like it would be hard to do that
yeah.
convincingly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and again, it's dreadful. It's laughable, and that's what you end on as well. That's
Yeah,
what your lasting memory is going to be.
yeah, it's sequel bait. So Catwoman begins. Join us next for Catwoman's Dark Knight. And because it ends with the
Yeah.
Rayami swinging like, who am I? I'm Spider-Man. Of like she's walking away and she becomes a PS2 graphic for a little while, and then she walks and she has the most exaggerated like hips and hand movement of like it just like it's fucking
Hmm.
ridiculous the way she walks across at the end. And I
Hmm.
don't know if you've ever seen it. I saw on Twitter the Batman Arkham Asylum games. Someone switched the models so that Catwoman has like Batman has Catwoman's animation and vice versa. So Catwoman is kind of like walking around
Yeah.
like upright, and Catwoman's like kind of sashaying his hips. It just kind of like reminded me of that with like how ridiculously over the top her movements were.
That's amazing.
So that brings us to an end.
Ooh.
Razzie worthy, certainly. How would you?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
What's the smallest change you
I
would
don't know.
make
Like
to?
I think I've said them all.
Yeah,
The smallest change is probably just put in a decent villain,
yeah,
and tighten it up a bit. Like it's probably the smallest change to make it better. Give me an actual Catwoman film that I laid out before. Give
yeah,
me Halle Berry Catwoman in Egypt, Assassin's Creed style, Mummy style, having a good flat. Have fun with it if you're going totally different. Love to see an ancient Catwoman. That would have been good fun.
yeah,
But the film is pretty bad top to bottom. It's not. You put in one fix, everything else still sucks in some degree. Or you really need someone else to do this.
yeah,
It all lands at the feet of Mr. Pitoff.
yeah,
So yeah, like yeah, I mean it's not as bad as you think. Like it's not the worst film on this journey. It is unique in certain ways, but it's also the most generic, rehashed, redundant, unnecessary film I've ever seen.
yeah.
So yeah, what else to say? Razzie worthy. Do not recommend it, even if you're a diehard. If you're a diehard DC, there's nothing in this for you there really. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a big no for me. What about yourself?
Yeah, same. Like, I've kind of covered everything. Maybe if
Yeah.
Pitoff had taken more notes from Luc Besson, like, have Catwoman be 12 years old and she's in love with a much older man, and
Cat Girill.
there's you're right. You nailed it. Like the easiest thing is giving this like a worthy antagonist, but there isn't really much you can do to fix this, or like any changes massively quickly become massive overhauls because there's not really
Yeah.
a lot that works about this. So it is just
Yeah.
like put the camera on a tripod, stop zooming around. That's the biggest change I can make.
Yeah.
It's like color grading. Have a few
Yeah.
words in their ear about how it looks, and stick the camera on some sticks. That's the quickest change I can make.
Yeah.
And yeah, Razzie worthy open and shut case here.
Yeah.
So it, of course, won Worst Picture. That's why we are speaking about it. It also scooped a Worst Actress award for Halle Berry as Patience Phillips slash Catwoman. And this, of course, as you alluded to earlier, notorious for Halle Berry being
Mhm.
one of the first people, one of the only people to accept her Razzie in person. Wikipedia says she was the first to do so since 2001. So, Kyle, I'm assuming you know who that is.
I do. It's my man.
Yeah,
He takes all of them as well. He I think that's probably why I've got it in my head. I'm sure
a fistful of
he
Razzies.
demands all the like
Yeah,
everyone. You can't give me just one, and I
yeah.
walk into the distance. Give me them all.
That's why Mr.
I'm sure
Razzie
that's why
doesn't
I've
make them
got a
anymore.
stickler
That's
for it.
why no one
Yeah, like
since has
I
received them. It's because
yeah.
he bankrupted Tom Green bankrupted Mr. Razzie by being like, these things cost $27, right? Okay, I want five. So Halle
And
Berry
rightfully so.
first.
If you give me five, I'm gonna give five.
Yeah. So Halle Berry first to collect her Razzie in person since 2001, and she was quoted as saying, "If you aren't able to be a good loser, you're not able to be a good winner." And she mocked her 2002 Oscar acceptance speech, acting tearful and saying, "I never thought this would happen to me." And so yeah, this
I agree.
yeah
Yeah, I mean, I really like being a good sport. I think it's great.
yeah
It's fun. I
yeah.
hate her for legitimizing the Razzies and
Huh?
Mr. Razzie living off it for the next 25 years.
Mhm.
Like there is part of it like bankrupt him like Tom Green. But yeah, but it's good sport. I do like it. You know what? I was thinking this the other day
Yeah.
because when I was watching it, I remember reading. I think it was in the book that she was going to be in the spin-off of the Die Another Day. It's when that fell
Okay.
through. This came about, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
And I imagined a parallel universe where what's her name again?
Jinx.
Jinx.
Yeah.
When Jinx, yeah, when her movie got made, Halle Berry would still be up there in the 2004 Razzies to pick up her worst actress. I think it's just like one of these things that no matter what the
Fixed
timeline,
points.
she's
Yeah.
got the year
Yeah.
to do this. It is exactly the moment in time.
Yeah.
But fair play to her.
Yeah.
I do the same. I'd be the other.
Yeah. No, exactly. She handled it with a tremendous amount of humor and grace. And if she would like to legitimize our podcast by coming on here, she is more than welcome. Next up, worst supporting actor Lambert Wilson in Catwoman as George Hidaire. I can't even fucking
The
remember
bad
him.
boss guy,
He's the Patsy.
white haired
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah, exactly. He's like the Sharon Stone's wife, who's like, "What makes you think I wanna
Yeah,
hear you talk?"
yeah,
Who he also played. Let me get this right. The Merovingian in The Matrix Reloaded. So yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
cool.
he's a nothing here. He's fine, but
I
it
think
does
he's
make me think
good. I think he's
of
yeah,
yeah, but no, he's fine. He's fine, but he does make me think of Walken. And
yeah,
I'm like, oh, like if Walken was here, he was pushing about Michelle Pfeiffer. That would be a good film. That
yeah,
would be a much better version of this film I'm watching.
yeah.
But he is probably the best because he's got the right level of like campy comic book, but still believable. Yeah, he's better than Sharon Stone as well by a mile.
Yeah, definitely. I think Benjamin Bratt deserves his spot.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Then next up, we have a nomination for Sharon Stone as Laurel Hidaire. Well earned. I think she was lucky not to win, to be quite honest, especially when you see who did take home that award. Then
100%.
moving on, we have worst screen couple, Halle Berry and
Mm-hmm.
either Benjamin Bratt or Sharon Stone in Catwoman. Make your mind up, Mr. Razzie. Both of them are as valid as the other, I would say.
Make
Like,
your mind up.
yeah.
Yep, 100%. I wouldn't really call Stone and Berry a combo, so I'm gonna give it to Brat and Berry, but it is deserved.
Yeah. And then we have a win for Worst Director. Unsurprisingly, Pitoff took home the Golden Raspberry for that one, which the amount of times we've criticized his choices, yeah, this is like, I feel like we often maybe make extenuating circumstances for some of the directors, but this is like quite clearly like, no,
This is
you
bad.
are, yeah,
This is probably arguably one of the worst directed films I've seen in the
yeah,
in the entirety of this. Like there's nothing. He didn't. No one acts well. The vision's
yeah,
awful. It's a mess. It's a headache. Like there's nothing. There's not one thing that makes me go. Like even fucking John Derek. I'm like, you worked in Hollywood. You know how to frame a shot. You know
yeah.
how to move a camera. Like you at least
God damn it,
understand
the
very
man knows how to shoot
basic
a sex scene.
fundamentals.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
does. He can. He wanted to see his wife get plugged. He's your man. He will film it beautifully. But it has to be both. But yeah, so like that's I have nothing nice to say. And I feel
Yeah.
bad. I do feel bad for him. He shouldn't have got this job. I don't know.
No.
I'd like to hear the story of how he landed up here
Yeah.
because that's a strange, strange one, which
I
makes me think that they
reckon
are writing it off.
yeah, I reckon this was just like a poison chalice of like this had been in development for so long
Yeah,
and he was probably brought on as like a studio patsy just to be like, okay, well we can push you around and we're not gonna experience the like pushback we would get from like say a Nolan or like a Fincher or something.
yeah,
He's someone who's just gonna be like, okay, yeah,
yes,
I'm grateful for the opportunity. Because as you
yeah,
said, he'd previously made Vidocq, which is a 2001 French film, and this basically killed his career. I know Mr. Razzie might want to take credit for that, being like, well, you know, it was the Razzies, but for whatever reason, people saw Catwoman. I was like, oh, that's what this guy is capable of, because his only following director credit was in 2008. He directed Fire and Ice: The Dragon Chronicles for the Sci-Fi Channel, which
hmm,
yeah, I'm sure it's the kind of thing that my parents would have made me watch on TV over Christmas.
mhm.
At some point, you like Dragons, Jericho? Here, watch this direct sci-fi movie that'll feature 30 seconds of dragons the entire runtime. So, the final award we have is worst screenplay. Screenplay by John Brancato and Michael Ferris and John Rogers. Story by Teresa Rebeck and Brancato and Ferris, based on the DC Comics character created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Sure, Kane and Finger are grateful for that. And that was a win, of course. And Ferris also collected in person. So, yeah.
Good on him. I mean, bad on him, because for shame for writing this thing.
No shame in whizzing a Razzie.
Like, you should. Halle Berry gets it. Academy Award winner can come and collect it, But the what did he write? Give me something else. What has he done?
Okay, well, don't speak too harshly about this person, because you never know. We might be able to persuade him into being on the podcast. So they are
I will. Well, tell me.
They're a writing partnership, Brancato and Ferris, and other credits include The Game. Oh, everything comes back to David Fincher. Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation.
Oh, Fincher, okay.
Take my heart. And Ferris has since written separately with 2 episodes of The Simpsons.
It all comes back to Mick G, like I said.
2 episodes of The Simpsons, Paths of Glory, and From Russia Without Love.
Oh.
So, yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I'm sure season 24's finest. For the great memorable classics.
Okay, so that concludes all we have to say about Catwoman. Join us in the second half, when we'll be dealing with all of the other winners and nominees for the year of 2004. Welcome back to the second half of Watching Worst Films, when we'll be covering all of the other winners and nominees for 2004. So interestingly, this was a ceremony with an in-person award show. We kind of touched upon it a little while back. This was held at the Ivor Theatre in Hollywood, which was rented using the proceeds of Ben Affleck's smashed up Razzie, which they auctioned off after he broke it on the Larry King show. So, thank you, Affleck.
Thanks, Ben.
So, worst picture, White Chicks. Have you seen White Chicks?
Oh, I have. I think everyone's seen White Chicks that was of age in 2004. You've never seen White Chicks?
No.
Okay.
I saw Little Man, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, no. White Chicks is infinitely better than Little Man, and I've not seen Little Man. White Chicks is obviously an oddity. It's weird, and it's very much a product of its time. It's probably best known for Terry Crews and his stellar. He's got one of those like Ben Stiller kind of, swooping in and just stealing the show, like a Happy Gilmore kind of role, where it's like, oh Jesus Christ, you're far too talented to be here, degrading yourself with the Wayans brothers in whiteface. But yeah, no, like, it's got funny moments in it. It has made me laugh. I don't think it's Razzie worthy. It's not good. Like, it's not good, and I wouldn't recommend it. But there's a lot worse. There will have been a lot worse comedies from 2004 than White Chicks. So this is a misfire. It was popular too.
Yeah, a decade before Kirk Cameron would save it, we were Surviving Christmas with Mike Mitchell's 2004 feature. Have you seen it?
Who's in it?
Ben Affleck, James Gandolfini, Christina Applegate.
No.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Batman, Tony Soprano,
anyway.
and Ben Affleck's. And Ben Stiller, rather. Okay, so neither have I, so nothing to say there. Moving on to Monolith, the Razzie Monolith for me. Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2.
Well, I haven't seen it, so take it away, Jericho.
Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2 is one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my life.
Wow.
It's like, I don't know who it is made for. Because, like, presumably you'd think, like, children, but it's just so, like children don't want to see Jon Voight stumbling around. They don't want to see a CGI baby quoting Casablanca.
No.
It's just, it's truly just, like, the most warped idea of what a movie should be and what people want from a cinematic experience. I hate it. It's kind of like Robert Rodriguez is like We Can Be Heroes, but just distorted through a funhouse mirror. It's Robert Rodriguez with a severe brain injury making a weird movie for children. Yeah, it's truly, truly, truly horrendous. And so I think it's worse than Catwoman.
Oh,
well, I don't think it's worse than Catwoman.
It is
worse than Catwoman.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Fair. Very fair.
Then we have another biggie, Alexander. Have you seen Oliver
Oh,
Stone's
of
Alexander?
course I've seen it. I went to cinema to see this. I also have the
Wow.
DVD. I hate it. I hate it still to this day. I just big antiquity, classical history kind of
Yeah.
fan in general, especially when I was 14,
Yeah.
15.
Same.
So I was
Yeah.
swooping up Troy. I was swooping up everything I could get my hands on. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Like, it's got moments of greatness. Like, it's got moments of like impressive set pieces and locations, and it's better than Catwoman, better than Super Babies. It's mostly dull is its biggest crime. You distill the life of one of the most well-known people in history, and you make it dull.
Conqueror of the known
And
world, and it's just like, come on,
yeah,
fast
yeah,
forward,
just
please, Oliver.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it's dragging, it's plodding, it's dull. Colin sucks. It's a terrible, terrible casting choice for Alexander. His accent
Oh.
being typically the top of the phalanx and all this shit, like fucking annoying. Angelina Jolie, who I have a lot of time for, is rough in it.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of roughness in it. It's not good. It's like a bomb, like for a reason. But there's a lot in it for me. It's aged better than like a lot of things because again, the scope, the epic, the grandeur. There's a lot I like about it. It's just casting and ploddingness. It's my biggest problem with it.
I haven't seen it since it came out on DVD, and my overriding memory of it is watching it with my mum, who's like a huge Colin Farrell fan, and her just repeating, "He's blonde. Why is he blonde? He shouldn't be blonde. Why is he blonde?" So that is my only memory. Like 13-year-old Jericho was very bored by Alexander. I
Yeah,
don't know
it
if that
is.
was because I was 13 or if it's just that Oliver Stone movies are sometimes kind of boring.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So that brings us on to Catwoman, which is, of course, the winner. So moving on to the next category Worst Actor. Deep breath. Ben Stiller in Along Came Polly, Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, Dodgeball, A True Underdog Story, Envy, and Starsky and Hutch as Ruben Pfeffer, Arturo Mendez, White Goodman, Tim Dingman, and David Starsky, respectively.
Well, absolutely fucking not. I've seen like all these. I think along comes
Yeah, so
Paul.
have I actually. Yeah.
Along Comes Polly is absolutely fine. It's forgettable.
Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
a really good
Philip
representation of
Seymour
two.
Hoffman
Yeah,
steals the show.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
He is Oscar worthy in Dodgeball. It's one of his best
Yeah.
performances. Period.
He's so good at that.
He without him, the film would be deflated and zero.
Yeah.
Like honestly, 90% of that film is carried by Ben Stiller,
Yeah, and
and
he's just committing to like a
he is
wild like
so
I
fucking.
I didn't like Dodgeball. I don't know if it was for you because you were in the year above me, but like that was one that like one of the teachers had. So like
Mm,
every Christmas or whatever, I would watch Dodgeball all the time in school. And so when I first saw Dodgeball, I didn't know it was Ben Stiller. I was just
no,
like, who's this terrifying guy with a mustache?
he's
Um,
fantastic. Him and
yeah,
Bateman, they're the two that steal the show.
yeah.
And what was the
No
other
time
film?
for Rip Torn.
No, I know he's good. Rip Torn, Hank Azaria upstage is Rip. Well, that's a good film. What's the other
Yeah.
ones? Starsky and Hutch is a shit film, but he's
Yeah.
fine. He's trying to fit a role, and like none of these reboots of 70 shows work. He's fine. And what was the other one?
Anchorman and Envy are the two that you
Okay,
haven't discussed.
Anchorman's a not counting Anchorman. You don't
Anchorman is supporting at most
at
because he's a
most.
cameo.
It's a
Yeah.
cameo, and I haven't seen Envy. What have you seen Envy?
I have seen Envy years ago. Me and my dad watched Envy. Barry Levinson comedy starring Jack Black and Ben Stiller. I think like they're old friends and one of them invents a way to scoop up dog shit or something. I think Ben Stiller's character is jealous of Jack Black's
Okay,
character.
okay.
It's our kind of like classic Frank Grimes is he's
Hmm.
like this guy's an idiot, why did everything go so well for him? I
Okay.
think it's that. And it's fine.
Yeah.
And Ben Stiller, I don't know what the worst I've ever seen Ben Stiller is. Like, has he ever been Razzie worthy? Like,
Um,
what's the bottom of the barrel for
I
Ben?
think, yeah. Nothing comes to the head.
Zoolander 2,
Two.
probably? And there he
Yeah.
just seems lazy and like he
Yeah.
doesn't want to do it as opposed to bad.
Yeah. I can't think of one off the top of my head. So, there's not one
Yeah,
that
so
just
with
springs right to mind.
some of his finest performances, absolutely not. Mr. Razzie clearly just out to get him.
Hmm.
Next up, we have Colin Farrell and Alexander as Alexander the Great.
Yep. 100%.
Big fan of Farrell, but yeah, can't really
Big,
defend
big
him here.
fan of Farrell. Like you say, your mum was Why Is He Blonde? I was Why Was He Irish? Where about is Cork in Macedonia? You know, like this is fucking nuts. And the fact that people have to like copy his accent so he doesn't stand out is
Oh,
such a big.
really?
Oh yeah, of course you do. You can't just have your lead speaking Irish and everyone else speaking in full Greek,
Yeah.
like Latin or something, can you?
They
Like so.
weren't able to get Brendan Gleeson. He was like, "Sorry, I'm making Troy."
Like Troy's fine because everyone speaks just like they speak. You know, like who
Yeah,
gives a fuck?
exactly. Yeah,
It's just a
yeah.
big
Like,
mishmash. But it's so glaring. He is awful in it. Like I am
yeah,
Colin fan. But yeah, this is
yeah,
big miscast.
yeah. Then we have Vin Diesel in the Chronicles of Riddick as Riddick. Have you
I
seen
have.
that?
Chronicles of Riddick is really good fun. It is I went to see it in the cinema because I
Yeah,
loved Pitch Black. Pitch Black's a great fun slasher, goofy sci-fi film. And
yeah.
okay, the coolest character's getting a spin-off. This could be me learning that I don't want the cool minor character to get spin-offs, but yeah, it's not Pitch
You
Black. It's
don't want
just
to see a Catwoman spin-off, Cal? You didn't watch
uh,
Batman Returns thinking, what if she had her own adventure?
more. But yeah, because it's a completely different style of film, it's a big sci-fi fantasy film. Like it's
Yeah,
so tonally different and different genre. I really like it. I've got a lot. The other one, the third one, not so much, but the Chronicles of Riddick, I've got a lot of time for. Vin Diesel's awful, but he's
yeah,
perfect. And it's one of those, you know, who else is doing this? It's gonna have
yeah.
to be. It's gotta be Vin Diesel. Yeah, no, I'm gonna give him a pass here. It's not a good film, but it's an interesting film. It's a fun film. I like it.
I haven't seen it. My only experience came from playing the video game when they had it
Which
at like Toys R Us, where
which
you could
was
just
really
like
good.
play.
I'm sure the game
It,
was
yeah,
really good. Like that's my
at the
memory.
time, yeah, it
Yeah.
was like, yeah. Do you know they're making a fourth one apparently?
Oh, is he going back to Pitch Black yet? Or is
No,
he?
I think
No,
this is
he's
just
still.
Riddick for
Yeah,
Furry. So yeah, it's
no
been in
comment.
development since 2014, but it is apparently coming soon with a teased by an Instagram post from Vin Diesel.
Hmm?
So then everything is connected, baby. Ben Affleck in Jersey Girl and Surviving Christmas as Ollie Trinky and Drew Latham. So you were right, you called it.
Yep.
Smith is a Razzie director. Ben
Yeah,
Affleck nominated for Jersey Girl. Wow.
absolutely. Yeah, I've covered that on the Smith special, so I've got
Yeah.
nothing else to add here, and I've not seen
Yeah.
Surviving Christmas, so
I don't think he's like terrible. I would strike him off from this. I think this is probably just Mr. Razzie having the Eye of Sauron on him in this post Daredevil era. Because I think Jersey Girl is kind of, as far
yeah.
as Kevin Smith movies go, unremarkable, and Affleck's fine.
Mhm.
Then the winner, you are never going to guess in a million years. You might know. But otherwise, George W. Bush in Fahrenheit 9/11
Yeah,
as himself.
he's eligible. Get him on. What did you think of Catwoman, Mr. President? Jesus Christ. Yeah, you. Oh my God. He's not. He can't. He's not acting. Like you can't win worst actor when you're not acting. I'm not having it. Like
Yeah.
you to fuck with that. To absolutely fuck with that. You can put it in its own category, and I'd be okay with it. You can make up some
Yeah.
bullshit award from him, but he's not. You're stealing that award from someone who worked really hard to be the worst actor, and
Yeah.
like yeah, he's. I'm gonna say again, he's better in Fahrenheit 9/11 than Colin Farrell is in Alexander. So, yeah, not having it, not having it.
So this was the beginning of Mr. Razzie getting political. As Wikipedia says, this edition of the Razzies was notable as the first to give nominations to a movie that was neither a critical nor a box office bomb. The Palme d'Or winning documentary, Fahrenheit 9/11, it received nominations not because the movie itself was of poor quality, but because the film depicted political figures' mishandling of the September 11 attacks and the Iraq War.
But then he
So,
paints. But Mr. Razi's painting it like it was an act. Like Bush is
exactly,
actually a
yeah.
genius, and that this whole
Yeah.
buffoonery was just for show, sticking to the
Then why not?
script. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Why not nominate Paul Greengrass for
Yeah.
1993, being like, well, the movie was excellent, but nevertheless it did depict 9/11, and
Oh
I
yeah.
cannot let it pass that I am
Yeah.
not in favor of 9/11. Like, yeah, we make your own category for like worst
Mhm.
war criminal in a documentary, whatever. But just like Michael Moore now being eligible to
Yeah.
come on the show, like, it's just I don't know.
I would
If
have
you want to
loved
get
it
your
if
soapbox, there are so many better ways you
yeah
can do it.
George W. should have collected.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. Looked him dead in the eyes. Like, I know where you live, Mr. Razi. Boom.
Amazing. So, worst actress. Sean and Marlon Wayans, the Wayans sisters in White Chicks as Brittany and Tiffany Wilson.
Like, I'll defend the film, but I'm not defending Wayne's and cross dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm refraining.
Yeah. Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen in New York Minute as Roxy and Jane Ryan. Okay, so we've had 2 nominations already, but split between 4 actors.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen New York Minute?
I am no. Of course, I've not seen New York Minute. Have you seen New York Minute?
No, but looking up, I recognize the poster. Eugene Levy is in it.
Okay. Oh, okay. And he's not doing much in 2004, is he?
Yeah, yeah. Christopher Guest hasn't called in a couple of
Yeah.
years. So his son has not yet. Come on, Papa needs a new job. Then we have Angelina Jolie in Alexander and Taking Lives as Mrs. the Great, aka Queen Olympias, and Elena Scott.
So yeah, absolutely for Queen Olympias. I haven't seen Taken Lives. I think Angelina should have won this year.
Yeah.
I would say she's
over
worse
Halle
than
Berry?
I would say so. I think Halle Berry's commitment, like it just wins it over. Like there's she does really try. Like God bless her. Whereas Angelina Jolie's really not good. I really dislike her in Alexander. So yeah.
I can't remember. I don't think she's great, but it's also just like a big like, why are you playing Colin Farrell's mother? Like this just makes no sense. Then we have Hilary Duff in A Cinderella Story and Raise Your Voice as Sam Montgomery and Terry Fletcher.
I've not seen either, so no comment.
Yeah, no comment. And I've only really seen her in Cheaper by the Dozen and the Sharon Tate film, so not hugely impressed with Hilary Duff's abilities, but cannot comment on these. Winner, of course, Halle Berry being Patience Phillips / Catwoman in Catwoman. So moving on to Worst Supporting Actor. Lambert Wilson in Catwoman as George Adair, covered. John Voight in Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2 as Bill Biscayne. Dreadful. Terrible. John Voight's just like so washed as an actor because he's just in like the biggest pieces of crap imaginable. At this point in time, he was still okay with like, what is it he's in? Like the Bourne films or something as someone's dad. But yeah, no, he's truly dreadful in Super Babies. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Around the World in 80 Days as Prince Happy.
Is that the Jackie Chan film?
Yeah, that's the Jackie Chan.
I can see the cover. Okay, I've never seen it, but I can see the cover in my head. I haven't seen it. I remember it, the Jackie Chan film, but I have no idea about it. I assume it's one of those mad world, massive amount of cameos.
Yeah, there's quite a few, I think. Arnie's
a bit of rat race.
Yeah, he's in a hot tub for like 30 seconds because this was a film he made during his term as governor. So this was his rare like pop back into the world of acting. Because I think for the longest time this was his like final role. And he's fine. He's fine. He's only here because Mr. Razzie doesn't like him and the anti-Arnie agenda, which I, for one, will not stand for. So moving swiftly on to Val Kilmer in Alexander as King Philip II.
He's fine.
Was that not the Queen's husband?
Yeah. He's fine. Big Colin's dad. Yeah, he's fine. He's not good, but like of the main three, he's probably the best. It's still sleepy, lazy, boring, energyless Oliver Stone. So you know what? It's the best of the bunch, but it's still worthy to be here. I just don't imagine it being worse than John Voight and Super Babies or
it can't possibly be.
Yeah.
I can't really remember it, but I think if my recollection is correct, it's a little bit like that thing that people said about Ben Affleck in The Last Duel, of like certain actors just do not have period drama faces. Like I don't see Val Kilmer as being like he's a very contemporary actor, I think. But then I don't know, I haven't seen Tombstone, so who knows. But I just don't see him as like an ancient Greek monarch. Then we have the winner, Donald Rumsfeld in Fahrenheit 9/11 as himself.
Like I'm you know what? Same thing I said before.
Yeah.
I've got nothing else to. I'm not dignifying this shit.
Yeah.
This is going to be every fucking category that I am not dignifying it. But he's like what actress is next? Like show some restraint. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just interesting. I assume Cheney must feature in Fahrenheit 9/11. I've never actually seen it,
Yeah,
but
everyone's going to
Mr.
be in it.
Razzie thinking
Yeah,
that's okay? Mr. Razzie
like
thinking that Cheney's perfectly fine?
yeah. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so moving on to worst supporting actress. Sharon Stone in Catwoman as Laura Ladair. Covered that. Okay, getting this out of our system early on. Condoleezza Rice in
Good,
Fahrenheit 9/11
good.
as herself.
That's good. I'm glad he got it out the way. Like that's what I'm saying. Show restraint. You've got your jokes out the way right now. Fuck it. Like it's gonna
Now we can
lost your.
get to the good stuff.
Yeah, right. So yeah, swiftly on. But I'm glad it's out the way.
And then we have Jennifer Lopez in Jersey Girl as
Hey,
Gertrude Steiny. She's
what a writer. Yeah. What a writer, Kevin.
Whenever I see J Lo, I go, "That woman is a Gertrude."
That's a Gertrude.
Yeah, yeah. This is just residual Gigli hate because
Mhm.
she's not in Jersey Girl enough to leave an impression.
No.
Yeah, so nothing really to say there. Then Carmen Electra in Starsky and Hutch as Stacey Hack.
Yeah,
Can
she.
you?
Yeah, no, I can't remember. She one of me. I can't remember. I've seen Starsky and Hutch, but again, 15 years ago. I can't remember, but I can guarantee that she was terrible because it's Carmen Electra. Like, what do you expect in a
This is
2004?
your audition for epic movie,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you passed it with flying
This is
colors.
your peak. The epic movies, your punishment from this. Yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no good.
And then the winner, Britney Spears in Fahrenheit 9/11 as herself.
Bastard, you had me. Ah, yeah. I fucking hate you, Mister. Okay, well, whatever. I don't. What the fuck? I can't. What's she doing in Fahrenheit 9/11? What she? Britney Spears got tied to
I haven't seen it, but I doubt that Britney Spears was a pivotal figure in the Iraq War. So I'm gonna assume
it.
that like she might have played like some concert or campaign event or made some like jingoistic comments following 9/11. But she's like just like if we've established that you're giving George Bush this because of his moral
Mhm,
worth, Britney Spears, what's she done to be comparable
mhm.
to like the president who launched into like one of the most illegitimate wars of our era? Like it's just fucking baffling when you figure that he's nominated Condoleezza Rice, so as Secretary of State, she would have had way more of a role in the Iraq War than Britney Spears did. But he's like, oh no, you know what? I really wish I'd given her one for Crossroads a few years ago.
Yeah,
So this is her like Scorsese winning for The Departed. Sorry we ignored you all those years, Britney. Come on back. It's your time. It's her time. I'm with her. So worst screen couple, the Wayans brothers, Sean and Marlon Wayans, in or out of drag in White Chicks.
no, they don't. The brothers have chemistry. They're a good combo on screen. Doesn't matter if they're
Yeah.
little men or if they are in drag or in whatever. Like they are naturally got chemistry together because they're brothers. So no, take
Yeah.
off.
Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen in New York Minute. Once again, they are siblings. Next, Halle Berry and either Benjamin Bratt or Sharon Stone in Catwoman. We have covered Ben Affleck and either Jennifer Lopez or Liv Tyler in Jersey Girl.
He
You
didn't
know,
watch.
Mr.
He
Razzie.
didn't watch the fucking film, and he didn't know who was the romantic lead. So he was like, "Fuck it, I'll put them both down. I have a 50-50 chance of it being one or the other." And Geely hate.
When real smod heads know that the daughter is the romantic lead of the picture. She's the next best thing to mommy. So that then leaves us with the winner of Worst Screen Couple, George W. Bush, and either Condoleezza Rice or his pet
Yes,
goat in Fahrenheit 9/11.
yes. The fat goat. Is that the fucking book that he was reading?
Oh,
Oh, and
yeah, it is.
the
Yeah,
meme where
you're
they're
right.
like,
Yeah,
there's another
yeah,
town. Yeah.
yeah, shit, you're right. Yeah.
Yes, get him on, get the book on.
Welcome
Oh,
to the podcast, Razzie Award winning book, The Pet Goat.
yes, I know that's fucking amazing. A meme is like a Razzie Award winner. That is great. But also, what a fucking waste. Yeah,
Just,
the
well,
real
you
answer
spoke
is
about
Sharon
it.
Stone.
Halle Berry legitimizing the Razzies and Mr. Razzie going out of the way to delegitimize his own ceremony by nominating a children's book.
And
Then
letting it win. Like, it's a winner.
he just didn't want to give another award. He was bankrupt from Tom
Oh,
Green being like, okay, well, if George comes to collect at the very least, we won't have to give 2 to the
yeah.
book. Worst remake or sequel, Exorcist, The
Yay.
Beginning.
Hey. Finally. I've been dormant this fucking half of the episode, but now I'm awake. Exorcist the Beginning is 4. Yes, because Dominion's 5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you my Exorcist lore again, my power. Okay, right. So best way I always tell these people, because obviously it's a very fascinating production, 2 films out of the same core. We've got Rennie Harlan against Paul Schrader. Whoever, pick a corner for your favorite directors. Kyle's and happy either way. Rennie's is a worse, right? Paul Schrader's is a much better film. Number 5 is much, much better than 4. Paul Schrader's a better director. The way it's paced, it's more nuanced. It's more thematically, it feels like an Exorcist film. Rennie Harlan's has a lot of bells and whistles. It's got a lot of modern 2004 horror elements. And so, like, that's a bad thing. However, Rennie Harlan's is a completed, finished movie. Paul Schrader's is patched together and it shows. So I think they're both interesting and worth a watch in their own ways. I really don't think either of them are as bad as people say. I defend them a lot. I love all their sequels. Those first 5 films, they're interesting, if not great. And Rennie saves it as well. Again, it's what we're talking about before with him. He swoops in and, you've been working on this for fucking 3 years. I will fucking do this for you in 3 months. Let's get this done. Efficiency. I love a man of efficiency. So take it away. I'm glad to talk about The Exorcist at the beginning.
Yeah, Father Merrin. I fucked him. Hey! Yeah, I only watched like a little bit. Unfortunately, I got interrupted. I thought I'd be able to cram this in before the record, but I didn't get that far into Exorcist the Beginning. But I was digging it. I was like, this is really good.
I really think you'd like 5. I think Dominion, Schrader's version, you would appreciate more. But goddamn, like I say, when you think about it in context and objectively, like, fuck yeah, Rennie, you are very, very like, you would be, if I was a producer, you are the man I'm hiring to save the day.
Yeah,
you should have came in the Catwoman, not fucking Pivot or whatever he's called. Get Rennie Harlan in 3 months, bish bash bosh,
and bring in Andrew Dice Clay. That's Father Francis. Just a leather jacketed priest. Okay, then we have Around the World in 80 Days. Fair enough, I'll give you that, Mr. Razzie. It's a fairly like uninspired remake of just like, it's just IP being like, okay, what are people kind of familiar with? What's presumably like out of in public domain? It's not great. It's kind of like what we're speaking about with Starsky and Hutch, of just taking these things which had like existing knowledge and goodwill and being like, okay, and now they're comedies, and Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller and Steve Coogan, they're all in them. And so then we have Anacondas, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid.
I haven't seen this one. I've seen Anaconda, as we spoke about before, when it was nominated, but Anacondas I have not. So have to pass on that one.
Yeah, same, haven't seen it. Interestingly, it was the last in the series to be released theatrically because it has the stench of a straight to VHS film.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought it would have been. I thought the first one was the only theatrical one. So,
same.
Color me surprised.
If I read you the cast list, Johnny Mensner, K.D. Strickland, Matthew Marsden, Eugene Bird, Sally Richardson Whitfield, Nicholas Gonzalez, Carl Yoon, Morris Chestnut. Nice. That's a very straight to DVD.
Yeah.
You don't have a name there.
No.
And then we have Alien versus Predator.
Oh, definitely my loss of innocence, my last part of childhood. I went to see this in the cinema. I was so fucking hyped for this film. 13 years old. Alien is my favorite thing growing up. Predators are like my second. I love them. I love both franchises, and I couldn't fucking wait to see them combine. I think I went to an early see. I went to see it really early. Oh, bushy-tailed, bright-eyed, and came out miserable. It is, of course, my Paul Anderson, famous director of Mortal Kombat and Event Horizon. Yeah, it's such a missed opportunity. Like it's possibly the biggest fumble I've ever seen when it comes to just money, like easy money. Like, come on, just
Yeah. Exactly.
like
Yeah.
it's worse than
You're not making Citizen Kane
yeah.
here. Like just have them fight and have it be somewhat
Basically,
satisfying, and you're printing
recycle
money.
Alien 3 or
Yeah.
4, put them somewhere. A
Yeah.
Predator's there too. Like the thing is, they made like
Yeah.
video games and comics where they did it well before. This isn't something brand new. You just lift what was done, do it. Like it's
Yeah.
bizarre to make such a plodding, weird pyramids in Alaska, or wherever the fuck they are. Lance Hendrickson's good in it. This is a bad film, though. This should have been nominated. If Mr. Razzie had stumped up the $4 to go see it, he would have put this up in the nominations. This is a really bad film all round.
Listen, funds were tight. Kevin Smith is needing to sell
Mm.
DVDs to keep his sexy wife happy, and Mr. Razzie is needing to save money because Tom Green has bankrupted him. So it was a choice between Super Babies 2
Mm.
and AVP, and Mr. Razzie made the right
What's
choice.
your thoughts on Alien
So
versus Predator?
I haven't seen any of them.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, I just I like on paper, yeah, like I'm a child and I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, that would be really cool. But people have told me like they're bad. Just
they're really bad. They're
don't
really
waste
bad.
your
And
time.
the second one's more fun,
Yeah,
and it's got more fan service. It's just a straight up slasher film,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
still really bad. It's just you're comparing, shit with shit, and it's not like
yeah.
nothing's gonna look good. Yeah,
Life's
it's
too
bad.
short.
Yeah,
Yeah, life's too short. And no need for me to watch
again, this
Alien
is
versus Predator when there's
Alien
baby
versus
geniuses
Predator.
out there.
It's a thing that was in development hell, just like Catwoman. Get fucking
Yeah,
Rennie on the buzzer. Say, listen, mate, can you come in and make this? He would have gave you Alien versus Predator. That would have been fantastic.
yeah. I do remember us trying to do the maths with the Asda box sets of like, okay, so Alien versus Predator is included in this. How much money should you knock off for the
Yeah.
inclusion of this disc that nobody wants?
It made it collecting those films became a nightmare. Um,
Okay, so the winner, drum roll please. We have Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
Mr. Ozzy never watched Scooby Doo 2
Yeah.
Monsters Unleashed. I've didn't see it at the time. I've watched this film with my nephews, and I had great fun.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
the first one's probably better, but
Yeah.
I like how everyone's in their groove by the second
Yeah.
one. I want to say as well, like I employ a lot of like younger staff, and this is a
Are you
this
coming as Luc Besson
I'm
here?
just want no, I just want to say like I like when they talk about childhood favorites and stuff, like obviously
I don't necessarily respect child labor laws, if you know
well,
what I
I,
mean.
I just want to say,
Sorry. Yeah.
I want to say the next generation of people, like the Gen Zers, are loving this film. They grew up on this film.
Yeah.
They grew up on
Yeah.
it is
It's their Space Jam, I guess.
exactly. There's if when we talk about like people talk about Hocus Pocus or something, all these
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
love to the Adams Family and stuff that I grew up on, and
Yeah.
yeah, this is their version of that. They love this film. This is a modern. This is probably like influenced a generation. Probably the most Scooby Doo has ever done since like the '60s in terms of like
Yeah.
impact. So yeah,
True.
no,
Yeah.
crazy when you think about it in hindsight.
Just revealing how immature and sheltered I was that you were seeing Alien versus Predator, and I think I saw this with my parents and my younger brother. So I am one of those people.
Exactly though, exactly. But yeah, like I say, watching it as a grown old man, it is quite fun. Both of them are
Yeah.
good fun compared to some of
Yeah.
the trash that kids watch. Even We Can Be Heroes, I'd rather watch Scooby Doo
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. James Gunn, the high point in his career before he would create Bingo the cat or whoever it was, Beazle the cat from movie 43.
Mm.
Yeah, this just seems like a weird one, especially considering Starsky and Hutch isn't nominated
Mm-hmm.
here, and he's nominated Ben Stiller, so clearly he didn't like the film, or so you would think. But yeah, coming for Scooby Doo, just yeah, I don't know, he didn't
And
deserve
what
that.
Baby Genius 2? Where's that? Like
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Baby Geniuses 2, a movie so good that it has not won a Razzie.
yeah,
So moving on to worst director, Keenan Ivory Wayans for White Chicks.
it's exactly what it says on you know exactly what you're getting with that. Pass for me though, it's not his worst.
Yeah. Oliver Stone for Alexander.
Not a big Stone man. We've covered that. I
Yeah.
don't mind him being here.
We're not Kevin Smith. We're not stoners on this podcast. Not a big fan of Oliver Stone. So yeah, I agree. He's worth the nomination. Rennie Harlin and or Paul Schrader for Exorcist: The Beginning.
You fuck off. No. Rennie Harlan directed Exorcist: The Beginning.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's probably remnants. I don't know. I know Rennie shot a lot really quickly. That's why I say I know he came in 3 months, boom, 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 done. Here's your movie. And Paul took 3 years to do the same. To do less, to be honest. So yeah, like there's probably an element. The script, the films are very, 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 very similar as well. Like they are the same plot, they are the same script. They are just retooled and reworked to do different directors and visionaries. But Rennie deserves this. Paul Schrader is not eligible here. Sorry.
Well, I'm not going to complain if it means we get Paul Schrader on the podcast to talk Taylor Swift or any of his weird Facebook posts. And up next, Bob Clark for Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2. So he was robbed because I actually think he's worse than Pitoff. And Pitoff is a disaster. Pitoff is one of the worst directors in the history of the Razzies, but Bob Clark, auteur behind Porky's, lest we forget, is actually more deserving of it, I think. So yeah, that gives me.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not devil's advocate.
Okay, and so that just leaves us with the victor Pitoff, who we have discussed.
Mm-hmm.
So finally comes to worst screenplay. White Chicks, screenplay by Keenan Ivory and Sean and Marlon Wayans and Andy McElfresh and Michael Anthony Snowden and Xavier Cook. So these are all ampersands. I just think this is...
That shouldn't... You wouldn't imagine it would be.
It's not a 6-person
partnership.
And
it makes sense that the Wayans brothers and their friends were goofing off. And you said a funny joke, you'll get a credit. You came up with a funny scene, you get a credit. That's how you do it. That's how they always do it. It's just riffing back and forward, taking their favorite bits. There's your movie. Everyone gets credits, spread them evenly. Everyone gets payday. We're in it. We're acting. We're doing all this. Throwing a friend a bone. But yeah, and that's probably just poor idiotic formatting on Mr. Razzie's part. They're probably not.
It might just be Wikipedia. It is a little bit peculiar for some of the other noms. Surviving Christmas, screenplay by Deborah Kaplan and Harry Elfont and Jeffrey Ventimiglia and Joshua Sternin. I haven't seen it, don't really know any of those characters, so can't really comment. Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2, story by Stephen Paul and screenplay by Gregory Poppin. Fuck off. There is not a story. Like, my internet's playing up, so I can't see what Stephen Paul... He is blue on Wikipedia, so Stephen Paul has done something. But there isn't a story. Imagine fighting for that. Fighting for the story credit of like, no, actually it was my idea for the babies who had superpowers. I came up with that. Like, this is just like pure clocking in at the factory. Like, okay, we need a movie about babies with superpowers, so just write 90 pages and that's it. So yeah, worthy winner in my eyes. But anyway, Alexander.
I can update you. I've just found him.
Oh, thank you.
My internet lives. So Stephen Paul is an American independent filmmaker, actor, and talent manager. He is the chairman, founder, and CEO of Crystal Sky Pictures. He produced a lot: Ghost Rider, Bratz, Tekken, Rambo: Last Blood.
Shit.
He's actor John Voight's manager.
Oh, there we go.
Wait, it gets better. He previously managed Gene Wilder, Michael Cimino, and Bob Clark. See?
Wow.
He originally set up Paul Entertainment in the 1980s, teaming up with actress Bo Derek in 1987 to sell the unreleased feature film A Night of Love. There you go.
A Night of Love. Is this about Bo Derek spending a night with a younger man, perchance? Is this a reverse indecent proposal where John Derek is Robert Redford and he pays Woody Harrelson $1 million to sleep with his wife?
So all comes the Razzie lore all ties neat.
Yeah. Stephen Paul, come on down. Okay, well, I'm very glad that you were able to look that up because that's incredible. Then we have
Right.
Alexander, written by Oliver Stone and Christopher Kyle. Is he not the American Sniper? And Leta Kalogridis, based on the works of Robin Lane Fox.
That makes sense that it was based on, I assume, historical novels
Yeah.
because it's boring as shit. And it's a poor screenplay though. Like, if it's
Yeah.
poor direction, you could probably put the exact same screenplay in someone else's hands and have
Yeah.
a really exciting, great film out of it. So yeah, maybe the screenplay gets a pass because it's the direction that makes it so bad.
Well, the last time I saw it, I was a Scooby Doo loving 13-year-old, so I didn't even know screenplays existed, so I cannot comment. And then Catwoman, of course, the winner, screenplay by John Brancato and Michael Ferris, and John Rogers, story by Teresa Rebeck and Brancato and Ferris, based on the DC Comics character created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. So, yeah, I think Super Babies is worse. But
Yep, fair.
that concludes another year. And
Fantastic
we
year.
are, yeah, this has been a fun one. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad we were left with some juice in the tank at the end because some years are a little underwhelming or it's just the same films coming up again and again. But here we got Paul Schrader, we got Rennie Harlin, we got
Yeah, yeah.
Ben Stiller 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a
I
fun
mean, I
year.
mean, the thing is, 2004 is a great year.
Yeah.
Like you've got, there's a lot. Hold on, I've got a wee list here. So I did have I think I thought maybe like Blade Trinity would pop up and stuff like that. There was a few. I thought the Sandman might have picked up something for 51st Dates. There's a few films I was like, oh, it's a really good year for cinema, and it's got really low lows as well. What pisses me off about this year is he's missed so many good opportunities to fucking talk about Fahrenheit 9/11 and get that thing. Like you've blew your load. You could be talking about Shark Tale, and like we could have been watching Shark Tale, and we could have been watching some real gutter stuff from 2004.
Could have been
I
Martin
think
Scorsese were supporting actor rather than Donald Rumsfeld.
exactly, and then he's eligible. It's laser focused this year on like
Yeah.
four things, and that's
Yeah.
really disappointing. So it's a good fun year, but
Yeah.
yeah, this his awards. This is probably his worst overall awards, like distribution and like yeah, he's lazy. This is his laziest point. Tom Green broke him.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me the stinkers.
Okay, so we of course have the rival to the Razzies in the form of the Stinker Bad Movie Awards. So this year, their top award went to Catwoman. No difference there. The shortlist: Alexander, Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2, Van Helsing, a little favorite of mine, and White Chicks. So
Okay.
it's really the dishonorable mentions where
Yeah, that's where we
get
shine.
into the we get into the meat.
Mm-hmm.
Against the Ropes, Agent Cody Banks 2, Destination London, The Alamo, Alien vs. Predator, Along Came Polly, Anacondas, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid, Around the World in 80 Days, The Big Bounce, Bridget Jones, The Edge of Reason, The Brown Bunny, The Butterfly Effect, Catch That Kid, Christmas with the Cranks, A Cinderella Story, Closer, The Day After Tomorrow, Dirty Dancing Havana Nights, The Dreamer, Envy, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Eulogy, Exorcist the Beginning, Fahrenheit 9/11, Fat Albert, 51st Dates, Garfield the Movie, Gold Diggers, Hidalgo, Home on the Range, I Heart Huckabees, Joyzy Girl, King Arthur, The Lady Killers, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Little Black Book, My Baby's Daddy, New York Minute, The Passion of the Christ, The Perfect Score, The Phantom of the Opera, The Prince and Me, The Punisher, Raise Your Voice, Raising Helen, Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, Shall We Dance, She Hate Me, Sleepover, Soul Plane, Spanglish, Starsky and Hutch, The Stepford Wives, Surviving Christmas, Taxi, Thunderbirds, Torque, Twisted, The Village, Walking Tall, The Whole Town Yards, Wicker Park, Win a Date with Dad Hamilton, You Got Served, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Movie, Pyramid of Light, which I think is just every movie that came out in
Congratulations.
2004.
Every movie. Before you went on to like number 1,000, I was thinking they're right and then they're wrong, like in equal amount. Like there's a lot of those you're like, yeah, fuck, yeah, like the Village sucked.
Yeah.
That the Village could have swept the Razzies in here too.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like when you think of the ones where you're like, yeah, shit, you're right about those ones, and then they do Aquatic Life and stuff, and you're like, okay, well,
Exactly.
you're insane.
Eternal Sunshine, one of the best movies ever made. Like,
Like
yeah, it's
absolute classic. But like, it's one of those. If we hit everything, we're gonna hit. We cover, it's like a
yeah.
shotgun. We'll cover the whole radius. We're gonna get some right. Well, who cares about losses? But yeah, that's what I was meaning though. Their list is they're extensive. This could have been a really really fun year. Somewhere in the middle between Razzies and Stinkers this year would have been really good.
Yeah. The thing I'll just single up is the remake angle, because I'd forgotten the Coen Brothers Lady Killers remake, and that is almost a Razzie-worthy remake, to be honest. As much as I adore the Coen Brothers,
I do. I hate.
the
Yeah.
original is a great movie, but their remake is probably the only one of their films where I basically struggle to kind of find redeeming things about it. Like it's by far and away their worst film. And also Thunderbirds, maybe more of a British angle, but yeah, Thunderbirds would be a worthy contender for remake.
For sure.
Not much from the other categories, but they do have most inclusive musical score, which is, I know, something that you'd like to see continued at the Razzies. Worst song or song performance in a film or its end credits. So, Rock and Roll McDonald's by Wesley Willis from Super Size Me. Hot Chocolate by Tom Hanks from The Polar Express. I haven't seen The Polar Express, but I'm now worried about Tom Hanks doing a full Monty routine. Hey Joe by Michael Pitt from The Dreamers. Fat Albert theme, Gonna Have a Good Time by Kenan Thompson from Fat Albert. And it went to Hola by the Baha Men from Garfield the movie.
So, beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm getting pissed off that Wesley was there because he didn't record that, obviously. Rock and Roll McDonald's is his classic song, it's fantastic. But, he didn't record it for the film. I'm not counting that. That's 10 years out of there. That's bad. That's stupid. It's got to be Tom Hanks singing. That's eligible. That's right, because it's for the movie. Yeah. But that's kind of a bummer. Just give me worst score, give me, that's all I'm asking. Worst soundtrack, worst score, give me something. That's all I want.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
So that brings us to a close for another year, and we will be returning to you with another fun episode next week. I might build it up too much and it'll just be us crushed. But I cannot see how this could possibly fail to be anything other than a very fun episode, at least for me and you, as we're going to be watching Jack and Jill, 2011's Jack and Jill. The Sandman at last gets his moment in the sun. And there's two of him.
What more could you want? Double the Sandman.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to rewatching this. This is my possible second worst. I don't know. I don't want to think of ranking. Yeah. But I greatly disliked Jack and Jill when I watched it, and I'm not looking forward to watching it again. But it's going to be good to talk about the Sandman, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So good fun, good misery, equal doses.
Yeah, I'd avoided it for good reason. Like, I haven't seen Jack and Jill, and there is a reasoning for that. However, I had avoided That's My Boy for similar reasons, and I had an amazing time with That's My Boy. So
that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's aged like a fine wine. Maybe I'm more mature and I'll understand it a bit better. It's more my level now. I don't know. But you know what? Like the bar's so low, I can only beat it. So yeah, very, very excited.
Well, join us next week for that.
Excellent. Okay. Where can you contact us?
Oh, fuck. Thank you. Yeah. And if you have enjoyed the show, you can find us on social media where we are Watching Worst. You can email us with any questions or comments about the show to watchingworstfilms@gmail.com. And why not leave your old pals, Jericho and Kyle, a good old review on the podcast provider of your choice. Thank you. I forgot that from the Kevin Smith one. I think I was just so drained of talking about Kevin Smith for 3 fucking hours.
Kevin Smith would not forget to plug a podcast. Don't you fucking... That's what you need to learn. Plug all his merch and his website and his store. Right.
And perfect. We can if we do end up doing it, we can insert the Hollyweed chat there as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, sounds good. That's good. I have much to discuss about. That was fucking... My jaw was... I was like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I guess I don't like Kevin. It was everything you described. It's so much worse.
Yeah.
It's the fucking neighbors. I can only think of it. I was like, how couldn't Jason Mewes was the highlight as a hobo outside. He was probably the only one that looked like he knew what he was doing. It didn't need, he wasn't auditioning. This was rough.
If that got greenlit, he would be like, I don't know, you'd probably be better at giving me a sitcom character when they're like, okay, this guy is going to be a member of your crew now. Like
Yes.
the homeless guy in the alley is going to be coming into here. He's going to be
Yeah.
the Ken
Well,
Young from Community joining the gang because
yeah, he's gonna be the Fultons. Like
yeah,
you're in the,
exactly. Yeah.
you'll be in the background in season one, and then you're the rest of the show from here on
And
out.
then you'll
Yeah,
be in
like
the
that's
background of his show.
yeah, 100%. And Kevin Smith cannot carry a sitcom.
Yeah.
Fucking insane that he thought he could do it. He's got enough loser friends that could have done it. Like it's strange. It doesn't feel like Kevin either. He doesn't
Yeah.
look like Kevin. He doesn't act like, obviously he acts like Kevin, but this is a weird like Hollywood Kevin, and I hate it. But yeah, much to talk about.